Should have known it was a mistake. So thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully, okay. I'm back. We're back. Hopefully the connection is a little bit better. That was why I went out and in again. Hopefully my 2 dedicated viewers come back, but I should have known that it would not be so simple as just pause it for a second. It'll be so easy, so simple. Yeah, I should have known, but regardless, we are back. I'm just gonna let live stream notice know at live stream notice went down. Okay. So, yeah, went down for a second. Totally not my fault. I did not actively choose to to head out there for a second. But we're back. Hopefully everything is better. Stream is looking healthy on both Twitch and YouTube. So hopefully everything will go a little bit smoother now. Not that it wasn't going smooth before. Also, 2 viewers that came back lickety-split. I fucking love you. Thank you so much. You guys make it worthwhile. So hopefully, if you want me to talk more, talk less, let me know. Give me feedback. It's the first time I've done one of these watch-alongs. I'm having a ton of fun. Feel free to ask any questions or make any comments in the chat, but I'm going to keep on heading with it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just so amazed by the architecture here. I wanted to see the beautiful sculpture.
We definitely are visitors here, so no one has explained, I guess, the rules to your city. We were just taking in the fantastic architecture and history of Craghammer.
We were told there was a beautiful sculpture down the street of the ruler of Craghammer.
Make persuasion roll.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. Which do you prefer?
If only I was
21.
That's good. All right.
Wow, well, pretty decent.
The guards come up to each other, and the one that was talking to you, you can see now as you come a little closer into the light, kind of a frazzled black beard that's put into a very, very tight braid that goes down to his belly button, all wearing the same basic chest plate, long black kind of velvet cloak behind, each carrying some sort of heavy war hammer around the side of their belt. Steps up and says,
"Well, just to tell you the rules here, if you're going to go ahead and wander at night in the very expensive district, you don't want to do it by yourself, because you either have chances of being mugged or arrested. We might have arrested you."
Oh no! I'm so sorry. Do we need protection?
one of them looks over and sees the bear that is off in the shadows nearby.
I got trinkets.
One of the fun results of being a fucking ranger with a pet, or a warlock with a familiar, a wizard with a familiar. Anytime you have to keep track of something that isn't yours, it is really easy for there to be a miscommunication between what the DM thinks is happening with that summon and what you think is happening with that summon. And I think that if you are playing a summoning, kind of pet class, then you kind of just need to roll with the punches. I really don't have good advice, because it's really annoying to constantly announce what Trinket is doing. But also, if you don't talk about what they're doing, there just are going to be these sorts of issues. So, it's tough, but she's rolling with the punch really easily. She's like, "Oh, I thought it was back there." Now she's just going to continue talking.
What is that bear doing?
Trying to keep up with its wonderful master. Like,
Come along, Trinket. There's nothing to be scared of.
What's a bear doing in Craghammer?
they all grab out their war hammers.
Oh no, please. He's quite harmless. In fact, he's very scared of most people.
He's completely trained. He does tricks.
He
Doesn't he do
does.
tricks?
Trinket, show them your wonderful shake trick.
At which point, Trinket kind of like just kind of shakes her whole body. It looks at you confused. He makes a paw up and
If you put your paw out, if you put your hand out, he'll shake your hand. Yeah, see?
step back at the
I
claw
would not
motion.
do that.
That's all right. I would say, if that's your animal,
Yes.
don't bring it here.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Trinket, head back to that tavern, would you? People are getting nervous. I love you.
Trick is just heading home in the streets of Craghammer, just walking by strangers who are not going to know. I mean, fair enough. I'm sure that it will not cause any problems. I'll tell you what, though. I'm a fucking monkey's paw type of DM. You just send Trinket home walking through the streets alone, and I'm making some shit happen. All of a sudden, you sense that Trinket's dead. Because I think Rangers can resummon their shit. If it's something that you have to capture, I honestly don't remember how Beastmaster works. If it's something you have to capture, I wouldn't kill it. But if it's something that you just resummon, there's a disturbance. You feel your connection to Trinket, go off to the great unknown from where you first summoned them. All of this narrative stuff 30 minutes from now to describe what sort of to allude to foreshadow what sort of trouble Trinket got into while you were gone.
Begins to walk back. You can see a couple of other dwarves that are wandering, carrying some packages on sides. Make a very wide berth around this armored bear that's kind of slowly moping its way through the streets of Craghammer. What could possibly go wrong?
He's
Don't
so
worry,
adorable.
he's a sweetheart.
He's
fine.
adorable.
You hear in the distance.
One dwarf's like, look, I'll show you to the statue, and that's it. And, go.
Thank you.
I don't see very nervous. And honestly, I'm excited to meet you. So let's do this quickly. And come with me.
He leads you further into the cityscape. Down the road, you end up going through a few buildings. You find one large wrought iron fence with a series of carved spikes towards the top, and you see the beautiful dark marble building with the gold trim.
Oh, this one's amazing.
This is what you were talking about, Grease by Manor. What of rich sons of bitches.
So the Grey Spines own this one.
It's
Wow.
stunning. We only heard about the building itself. What can you tell us about the people who live here?
Once a rich sons of bitches.
That's interesting, the music that he chose. It sounds like rain, which doesn't make sense in a underground dwarven city, but I mean, it fits like kind of, I think, a more somber vibe that he's going for. Or maybe he hit the wrong button on the stream deck. Who knows?
Well, we can tell
Actually,
that.
Ironkeeper's all right. He's been doing a great job. The rest of the family can suck off.
Oh, really?
Not liked by the rest of the city, then.
They have friends everywhere, but I personally don't like them. They run business pretty tough. They work most of their employees in the ground.
Oh,
To the
no.
bone.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
don't
terrible.
think it's how you run business for. It's how you run business for profit, but not for
Wow,
hire.
it sounds like they would run the Mithril mine, which we've heard is just so hard on its employees.
That's the one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't go that far, Seth. Doesn't
Okay.
interest me.
Nor
Smells of
us.
brimstone.
Yes,
I don't blame you.
we prefer the company of good, hard-working people like yourself. We're very impressed with the work the carvers do in this city from what little we've seen so far. So hats off to you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
You know, it's not easy. Like, you're kind of born into it, and we spend most of our time training, which can get very
boring. You see the two of the dwarves that are now about 3 steps behind you. Go,
It's almost
all right,
Spartan.
Damson, you've got to get back.
See, okay, the lore dumping is getting better. You're seeing the city through the lens of a person. It's not just someone telling you about the city. You are seeing it through their specific lens with all of their specific experiences coloring that lens. And then they cut it off, or something in the environment cuts it off, or another NPC cuts it off. You do not just dismiss the NPC when you're done asking them questions. You should be left wanting more. There should always be more questions to drive further inquiry and further investigation. You don't ever want to get to the point with an NPC where you're just done with them, you know?
So our pause is, oh, sorry, look, we've done too much. Just follow us back. Go about your business. Don't wander here at night.
I will asterisk unless that NPC is like a friend. If you're traveling with a friend, obviously you're going to get to the point where you can't question them anymore. Or even if you're hanging out with a friend in a bar. But if you are just standing in passing, questioning someone, they don't know you, it's a total stranger. Unless you give them a reason to want to hang out with you, they are not going to want to just answer a long list of questions. If you sit down at a blackjack table or, a gambling, a poker table, or, what is it? 3 Dragon Monty, I think. If you're sitting down at a gambling table or a card table, that's a great place where you can ask multiple NPCs, basically an endless series of questions, and you can tie their responses into checks at the table regarding the actual progress of the gambling. So that's a very fun atmosphere if you want to lore drop a bunch, and you can vary it by having multiple different NPCs at the table answer. And you can even have NPCs get up and leave and new ones join, and maybe the dynamic at the table changes. Suddenly NPCs that were answering you one way start answering you a different way, and that speaks to the nature of who just sat down or maybe who just left. So all that is to say, if you want to lore dump your players, actually think about it. And I think that it is important to lore dump them to some degree when you enter a new area, when you're entering this Craghammer that they know nothing about with all of these factions and tensions and everything that happens in a city. When they are strangers in that brave new world, they need someone to get them up to speed. And so really considering hard how you're going to do that and how it fits each player's strengths. When they talked about the brawling pit in the middle of the tavern, my immediate thought was, Grog is going to go put on a show, gather a crowd, and then while people are betting on it, they're going to overhear gossip. They're going to be able to talk to other gamblers about bets, and during those bets, they'll be able to glean lore. Obviously, none of that happened, but I do think that those sorts of activities, events are good ways to lore dump your players in ways that don't feel like you're reading off a Google Doc.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We follow for a couple of blocks behind them for a
Make
bit.
sure that they're paying attention to us.
Yes.
All right. They bring you back towards the entrance of the residential district.
And then we stealth and
Split
go.
off. Yes, we can split off.
All right, roll stealth, both of you guys.
All right.
Am I currently being beaten by a whore dwarf right now?
Make a constitution check.
Constitution check?
Hang strong, buddy.
That's a mouthful.
18
Hashtag plus
Hordorf.
2.
Hordorf.
20.
Go with that.
Hashtag
All right,
Hordorf.
that's my constitution check. You have impressed your female dwarf.
Are you making a sex check?
By the
I'm
middle of hour
sex
2.
Hordorf.
That happened. That's the first time.
A sex joke.
She should.
So uncomfortable.
So that happened. Alright, so where'd you guys roll?
20.
He rolled a 20, I rolled a 15.
I don't know about that. Ugh.
As you guys begin to
I know.
wander off,
They're professional guards.
Vax, you vanish. Vex, you take a couple steps. Here. Hey!
Oh, yeah?
I told you, it's dangerous down there in the dark. Don't do that.
Of course.
Where's your friend?
Oh, he went already back to the tavern that we're staying at. I was wondering if maybe you could show me around the rest of the town.
He looks at the other guards and they're like,
Good save.
obviously fed up with his fighting, and they're not too keen on you guys.
Well, you guys hold the posts. I'll be back. Wait,
Thank you so
All
much.
right, but I'm gonna tell the boss.
fine. I don't get this chance very often.
Oh, that's cute.
From the alley that I snuck into.
Go do your
God.
You do your shit. Then you do.
All right. In the meantime,
A lot of sexual tension in Critical Role. I was not expecting this level of sexual content. I'm gonna be straight up. Yeah, not doing a great job of dismissing the, well, maybe it's not a myth. Maybe it's just a myth in what I've experienced, but dismissing the idea that D&D players are repressed and horny. This is a lot.
Tiberius. You ask around, and it takes a while, especially as a dragonborn. Some folks are like, no, I'm not talking to you. Some folks are like, oh, yeah, right over that way. And it's completely wrong directions. It takes you
Love
like
that.
2 hours to eventually find your way to House Thunderbrand. When you get there, it's a beautiful, beautiful alabaster building, a large white dome with small spires built into one of the more elevated ceilings of Craghammer proper. You can see on the outside, there is no gate, it's just an open lawn. You see grass. You see what looks like normally outside flora and fauna currently adorning the scape around this structure.
Cool.
Whoa.
Very distinct biome. Love that.
Lovely sight. I'm gonna saunter on up to the door.
A lot of great world building there. Like the descriptions of the places, they can be simple. Oh, it's black marble laced with trims of gold. Obviously, very opulent, very wealthy. The pikes around it also give off, very serious. They're not the fun type of like, wealthy. They are the serious mobster fucking horse's head in the bed type of wealthy. And these guys, we've already heard that they that they aren't really loved by a lot of outside dwarves, and now you show up and their area is drastically different. Things that you would normally find on the outside, as Matt put it. Very immediately lets us know that these people are outsiders, literally, because they have outside stuff. They have grass and trees. They are literally outsiders. I mean, maybe it's a little on the nose, but sometimes if you want to really speed run lore drops in terms of descriptions of environment, that's the way to do it. Is you can be on the nose with like the biomes and the areas and the locations. And that does a lot to where you can make the interactions between the characters and the NPCs feel more natural, because now the NPCs aren't burdened with the lore drops,
Touch and check.
Where's my perception? Oh, 5.
5.
Ooh.
You saunter right up to the edge of the grass line and get one step onto what suddenly becomes visible to you. A rather subtly carved dwarven rune in the ground. In fact, there's a bunch of them outlining the entirety of the grass. And as you're footing through, and you're like, oh, that's a dwarven rune.
That's a good voice.
I've been practicing my Tiberius. It's close. I'm working.
Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw.
Also, runes are not dwarvish, they're giant.
What is
Kind of
it?
actually the opposite
Dexterity.
in D&D.
Oh, that's 15.
15? All right. You managed to pull back to lessen the impact, but a bolt of bluish energy bursts out from the rune in front of you, throwing you about 3 or 4 feet behind the rune. You catch yourself. You do suffer 8 points of thunder damage.
Okay.
Damn gay
Thunder
communities.
Lightning
This
damage,
is why
probably.
we go to brothels instead
Force
of
damage.
sneaking around at night.
No lightning.
It's a whole different kind of damage.
Okay.
Well, I dust myself off. Apparently this has some sort of security. Hello?
You wait about 2 or 3 minutes, no response.
Okay. 2 to 3 minutes. That's a long time.
Yeah?
I have a feeling they're gonna respond to the crazy guy.
Yeah, very well.
What are you two doing?
We're making comment
We're making
cards.
comment cards.
Yes.
You're all going to have comment cards that
Hugely
you are
important.
expected to fill out when you return back
Hugely
Yes.
to the
important.
bar.
Yes. Because what was it?
Look, when you have... I'm going to keep talking about the fact that there are 7 fucking players. When you have this many players, some of them just have to bite the bullet. Some of them just have to do boring, quick shit. 4 out of the 7 of them took tasks that take like 4 minutes to narrate. Because, I mean, with the calling cards, even less. Because these 3 jamokers both took 2 pretty intense tasks all by themselves.
Baldus? Beldus?
Bulgus?
Balin was so nice. Balin. He was so nice.
Dearest Bulb.
Do I see, what do I see around the premise? Do I see any large, like, rocks or any kind of large, like, maybe pillars, like, maybe runes, like, just
Like
setting on
festivals?
other things that I could...
Best thing you can tell in this instance, it's fairly dark down here. You can see that the building itself just has 4 corner spires around the large central dome structure. Each one of these spires is a very, very thin, tall alabaster spire that at the very top is crested with some sort of a bluish crystal that comes to a point. They're probably a good 35, 40 feet tall. About as tall as the rest of the structure is.
Okay.
You can't really tell how far back the structure goes because it meets with the back of the cave wall.
I'm going to... Okay. So I'm gonna shoot a fireball. Just right in
Violence.
front of me. Kind of like roll it, like bowling ball. Right up to the door.
Uh-huh.
You are 4 feet from the door.
Oh, I'm 4 feet from the door? I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm only 4 feet from the door. Oh.
Well, it pushed you back 4 feet from the room you stepped on. Like, you're not at the door.
Can I use that
Episode-
magical earring that we
You don't
have?
know what's going on there?
Episode 1, Tiberius kills himself.
Don't die.
Well,
I should have come with you. I didn't.
This is one of the, again, when it comes to describing your immediate surroundings, this is tough for the DM. The only, because I don't think that Matt actually said, oh, you're blasted back 4 feet. It was just you're blasted away from the wall, which in my narrative mindscape, that's like it's like, you're thrown against the wall like in a superhero movie. So I understand why he thought he was more than 4 feet. But yeah, there's just a certain amount of specificity when it comes to, but maybe I'm being nitpicky because Matt, how could Matt have known he was going to try to be throwing fireballs that do AoE damage? So, yeah, maybe that's just a nitpick. Maybe I'll retract that one.
Hold that fireball, dude.
Ooh.
Because you understood
And
the
left
importance of
alone.
dragon
Sorcerer. And everyone is level 9.
Podcast.
Everyone is level 9. How does he have a +9 to persuasion then? And he's a sorcerer. That doesn't make sense. At level 9, you have... Am I crazy? Do you have +4 at level 9? Oh, you do. You do, because you cross over, I think, at 8. Yeah, you cross to +4 at level 8, so yeah. So that's out. So he has a 20 in charisma. I mean, I guess you take your first 2 ASIs. Yeah, that all tracks.
Damn it.
I use mage hand
Level 9 though. Wow. Wowie.
and I knock on the door.
For session 1.
From that far away? Okay. Okay. The mage hand kind of create the arcane energy kind of swirls up and forms this loosely hand-like appendage that drifts towards. As soon as it crosses over the room where you stepped on, there's a spark of energy, and the hand is dispelled.
Damn these runes.
Dumb.
I'll do Glacial Blast right up to the door,
Okay.
but not to the door.
What?
Right. So as
Glacial
you post
You're alone.
the glacial blast forward,
Is that a Pathfinder
the
spell?
ice begins to congeal across the bottom of the floor. As it reaches the front of the room, there's another spark of energy, and the ice kind of forms up against an invisible barrier that's there. And then the ice that's up against the barrier melts extremely quickly, drifting into a puddle of water.
Shit. I turn back and into the group.
Okay. As you turn around, there are 4 carvers that are hurrying towards you now with their hammers out.
Oh,
going,
Jesus.
You! What?
Look, okay. I mentioned that I run a lot of open world type stuff. Very, very loose, player directed. Some small arcs here and there, but normally not a grand arc. Or at least like a grand arc, anything that passes for a grand arc takes 4 levels to complete. So there's no like 1 to 20 quest line. And so I think that some people might, knowing that about me, they might think that I don't like this, that I don't like just putting up a wall in front of the player and saying, no matter what, you cannot get in. That's where they would be wrong. I love it. Because at some point, the characters need to think critically. They cannot just force their way into every situation. They need to think critically, and they need to think creatively. And yeah, he's trying different things, but they're all varying types of just force your way in. There's no cleverness being displayed here. There's no critical thinking. He's just trying to force his way in, which is valid. I'm not saying that the player shouldn't do that, but I also very much support Matt just saying, no, none of it works. None of it works. Try something else. Oh, that didn't work? Try something else. Like, I absolutely, I think that is not only just okay, but I think that is good. I think that the players should need that sort of walls sometimes. And that's not railroading. That's not like the invisible walls in a video game. It's just that not every solution fits every problem. Sometimes you need to try something different, or you need to come back to a problem later with more knowledge.
They all kind of surround you on all sides. You have a dwarf in each corner. Like,
You have attacked one of the great dwarven families of Craghammer.
Ooh.
Name yourself and your business before you're under arrest.
Don't speak to me in that manner. I am Tiberius Stormwind.
All right, love that. I'm learning a lot about Tiberius right now, and yeah, I'm loving it. That's really funny, and I don't know if that was purposeful. I feel like it might have been, knowing what I know about Matt Mercer. State your name and your business. Now, business obviously is often a euphemism and is often, is often used in place of like, what are you doing here? That's your business here. But in the established lore so far of Craghammer, that is this very mercantile situation where like the rich wield disproportionate power to the rest of the populace, it seems like. Stating your name and your business is a very light bit of colloquial work that can go to solidify that feeling and that vibe of Craghammer as a whole in one sentence. That this military force is more concerned about what sort of business you have here rather than your intentions, like any other way they could have said it. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I'm giving Matt too much credit. But to me, that speaks of a very purposeful building of a vibe within the Craghammer setting.
I'm snoring after having sex.
Make an intimidation check.
Aye.
Well, 18.
All four
Not
carvers
bad.
kind of take a step back, look at each other.
Not bad.
Look, we're just doing our job. What's your business?
I understand that, and I'm sorry for losing my temper. But I was just looking to ask questions of particular artifacts I've been looking for, and this house is the only known arcane house I know that I was pointed to. I tried to reach them and communicate, but I was stopped by this stupid rune I can't figure out. So I was turning back to get to my tavern to get some rest and come back and try to contact the family the next day. And then I was stopped by you!
Make an intimidation check.
24.
Just arrived in New York City. I'm going to smash the doors.
Look, checks can't solve everything, but in this situation where he has clearly not actually damaged anything, he's just thrown magic against other magic. He's basically just making a fuss. I think it's totally reasonable to let him talk his way out of this one.
The dwarf guards kind of look at each other grinning. One of them steps forward, and this guy, you can see now he has like more carvings into his armor. He looks to have a little more rank than the ones, and he steps forward. Kind of ruddy brown beard, his eyes and stuff are pitch black. There's almost no color to the irises. He goes,
Whoa.
Look, let me off this once. But if you so much as spit in the direction of any other dwarf in this city, we're going to bury you so far underneath the dungeon that you won't see the light of day till the day you rot. You hear me, Dragonborn?
I mean, yes, my hearing's perfectly fine.
Get on.
puts his camera back in his side.
Something I complimented Matt for earlier was his description of how things smelled, and he has not described how things smell or sound since. And I think that's a shame. I think that for this dwarf, you can describe the black eyes, the extra carvings, and also that his steps are eerily quiet for how large and menacing he is. Again, describing those sensory details can be huge for planting the vibe and making people really feel the weight of these characters.
They all kind of separate but stare you down as you walk past.
Good day.
I do like Tiberius. I like Tiberius so far.
Yes.
You go ahead and make your way through the alleyways, eventually back towards the building proper. What would you like to do?
I'm just going to watch, that's all. See, do I see any security
Just
details?
spying.
See who's guarding the place.
There are carvers doing rounds around the city, around the streets, just kind of wandering through in pairs.
For anyone who's new here, get comfy, grab a drink. We're doing movie night with Critical Role.
You do see individuals moving past windows. There's a little bit of light from the inside of the building.
Okay. No carvers or any sort of guard detail outside the house, anything like that?
Not between the gates, of the yard area and to the front door.
Okay. But heavily guarded by the looks of what's inside and what's outside the gate?
What's outside the gate, you're hard-pressed to find a moment where the street isn't visible to some carver. This area is pretty well guarded. Okay. You figure largely because the person who is currently the Iron Keeper of the entire city of Kraghammer lives within that building as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, this is the exact same thing that he did with Tiberius in this magic house. Is it's okay to put up walls in front of your players. It's not railroading. Railroading has a very negative connotation, and, somewhat rightly so. But just putting up a wall in front of your player and saying, look, the solution that you're looking for, it's not valid. That's totally okay. Every solution that the players try does not have to be the right one.
As well as one of the more powerful dwarven families, so it's pretty well watched.
Okay. I'm just going to head back to the inn then.
Okay.
I'm not going to poke the bear.
You all eventually gather back at the tavern.
How was your night?
That was wonderful. I don't know about you.
I have hickeys.
That guy's weird.
No STD.
Yes.
Yes. Crazy, I have some hickeys too, actually. What?
What?
And we have comment cards.
Yes, here.
This
Here
one.
you go.
Well,
Success all around. Did you learn anything, Vex and Vax?
I definitely think we should take the diplomacy route. Places are heavily guarded. There seem to be lots of carvers.
Oh, and I love this, him saying, we should take the diplomacy route. That was also reinforced with Tiberius of, hey, you are not getting through with force. And then he gets to the guards. He doesn't try force. He tries diplomacy, and he gets his way. He gets out of it. So Matt has very much, it seems reinforced that diplomacy is the route to go. And even with the guards outside of the house that they were talking to earlier, that Vex and Vax were talking to earlier, they just talked their way out of it. And when they tried to sneak their way out of it, it only half worked. They had to do some more talking. So Matt is very clearly leading them down the direction of diplomacy is the best choice within this city. And maybe diplomacy will unlock other options. Maybe you can diplomatically convince or bribe some guards to maybe not be watching one night around the house. Or maybe you can tease information on how to disable the runes out of people. Seeing what options are available to you from the DM and then using those to do the things you want to do is what I think makes really engaging gameplay.
There's a knock at the room you guys are currently talking in.
Yes.
Unless, are you in the tavern proper, or do you
No,
go back
no,
to
we're in a
I'll get it. Hello.
Adra's standing there looking a little nervous. She goes,
Hi, sorry to bother you. Is that bear one of yours?
Oh.
Seems like they just forgot about Trinket in the first 30 minutes of this, and then someone reminded Matt that Trinket existed, and now he has to be accounted for at all times.
Yes, Trinket! Isn't he adorable?
You might want to go.
and you hear in the tavern.
I'll be right back.
You head downstairs, and you can see all the dwarves are now gathered around the fighting ring in the center of the
Oh,
tavern.
no!
And Trinket's now inside the ring
Oh,
with a couple other dwarves around,
Trinket!
kind of just prodding and pushing it into the ring.
No.
Oh my god.
There's Roush is cheering, like, yeah. They're not even listening to you at this point. There's just.
I followed my sister downstairs.
I'll come down too. It's
I run down
I'm
with
following down.
Grog.
Everyone's
As you
gathered
guys head
around.
down, you can see now, Bulgus is now up and, like, rubbing his chin and, like,
No, focus!
Son of a bitch! This is what I was talking. I mean, I guess they got there during the day. So maybe that was why Matt didn't have it, is because they got there during the day. But just have them get there at night. And have this scene. And this scene is where you can deliver all of the nice lore. You can read your World Anvil article to them. And you can do it in a way that feels better. You're talking to multiple NPCs. You're listening to NPCs talk to each other. You're seeing how they interact with certain notable NPCs, all in this big raucous activity that leaves a lot of room for mischief because people are focused on the fight in the middle.
Trinket, come here.
Trinket?
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Trinket, come here.
You are very much allowed to curse.
Okay,
Isn't that right, guys? Fuck yeah.
No,
What a nerd.
No, and I
Good fucking nerd, though.
Okay, as you run into the ring, a couple of the dwarves kind of pat you on the back, and you kind of get shoved into the ring. There's now Trinket and you.
Oh! I'll take on this bear.
Well, all
Make a
right.
general charisma check.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm pushing my way through the crowd.
No.
What'd you roll?
A 1.
Yes.
One of the series.
Oh, the drama, the despair, the sorrow. That was such a fun choice. We'll see how Matt handles this. This is a great litmus test of how Matt does 1s and 20s. But, you gotta give her something. That's such a fun idea. Oh, we'll see.
Everybody. First one.
So as you rush and you guys are coming to the front, you see Bulgus goes. Bulgus sees this, and now you can see both eyes are open, which means he's sobered up a bit. He's, oh no! This bear's mine. You want to fight too, lass? Oh, it'll wake you right up.
Let's do it.
I think it's a brawl.
I cast a fog over the ring.
Okay. As everyone's kind of cheering up and getting ready,
Okay.
this very
Smoke
thick
machine.
fog begins to fill the center of the bar area. You can now see majority of the, wait, what the heck? Some are coughing. We're like, what the hell's going on? What the fucking hell is that? Why is it?
Okay, I run up in the fog and I tap Trinket. I whisper in Trinket's ear and I say, Trinket, I'm tapping you out. And I turn into a bear like Trinket.
Good. Okay.
And first I
Why?
morph Trinket into a squirrel.
You can do that?
I can.
Oh, you can polymorph?
No. A mouse, like a rat.
little tiny,
like a rat.
Wait.
Okay. I've heard that Marisha May kind of just does shit, even if she can't. I believe off the top of the dome that fog is concentration, and so is polymorph. And like if she gets hit while she's in bear, she's going to lose concentration, which then would mean that Trinket is no longer polymorphed. Also, on Ranger Beastmaster, it doesn't matter if Trinket dies, right? So like, what are we doing here? I don't know what's going on.
You see the shadows nearby the fog. You hear that. Like, come on, man! I'm gonna get you. You can see Bulgus' shadow just swinging wildly in the air, angrily.
I don't know. Yes.
You go ahead and you grab Trinket. Trinket shrinks down into a tiny little mouse.
And I say, Scanlan, catch Trinket.
Oh, Jesus, I don't like rats, but I'll keep it. Okay.
Trinket, the little mouse face, the moment you see it, looks very confused, very scared.
It's okay. I'll protect it.
And
Don't
then I
worry.
bear form
Fight a
like
good
Trinket.
fight.
Into a bear form. Now Keyless now this giant bear where Trinket once was.
I got my money on Ballsack.
Don't bet against the enemy.
In the fog, I somersault over some random dwarf and pull out my dagger, but turn it around in my hand and whack Bulgus in the back of the head
shit.
as hard as I can, just to try to knock him out.
Can you see in fog?
He's
Okay.
a really good fighter.
Go
The
ahead.
light.
Go ahead and make a stealth check. You have advantage because you are in fog.
Okay.
I'm at the balcony, by the way.
So
You
what,
have
what
advantage. You have
watching
advantage.
it.
Roll twice.
Oh, thank you.
Now we're watching my drone.
Remember, he's our friend.
I'm taking a short
Don't
rest.
kill him.
I'm taking a short
Okay.
rest. You guys can do this.
Bulgus' drunken, kind of mist-covered state does not seem to notice your approach. He is swinging wildly, though. He has a disadvantage attack on you as you approach. One of his fists just swings past you. That is going to be a 12. I don't think that hits.
No.
You just narrowly dodge out of the way. You can feel the fist just past one of your ears as you come back up, clutching the base of your dagger.
Okay, no initiative for combat. I'm down with that. A lot of people are like, you need initiative because combat is unbalanced without it. Look, fucking hot take of the day, combat's kind of boring. Like, combat is fun and interesting, but also boring. It can be all those things at once, right? And for something like this that is so narratively driven, like, it doesn't seem like they are, like, the 7 of them, all level 9s, are easily overwhelming this one dude. So when you're thinking about, like, what is the purpose of any given combat, right? When you're thinking about that, this combat is not a test of if the party can take down this fighter or this monk, whatever he is. That's not the test. It's more of a narrative, fun puzzle for them to discover lore and or make enemies or friends, right? And so in that context, since that is the purpose of this combat, it makes sense not to need to roll initiative. Let people do things when they want to do. Let them get a little bit weird and wacky. All good. Alternatively, if there's a combat where the entire purpose is to see if they survive or to see exactly how they puzzle out this combat, you need initiative. You need to make sure that everyone is going in a specific order because that preserves the integrity of the puzzle, and it allows them to be more strategic about their solving of the puzzle. And it also gives them a very clear idea of the dangers, of the time pressures that they're under. That's the good part of initiative. But for this one, he's clearly just like, he's rolling attack rolls, people are going whenever they want, and that's okay. Because this is not a puzzle, this is narrative.
Or go ahead and go for your strike.
All right.
Oh
here
my
we
gosh.
go.
Come on, Tank Butter, you got it.
Go.
That's new.
Roll
Good.
twice. Does he have
Oh, I have an
advantage still?
advantage on the attack roll for this?
Because he does not see you, yes.
Yes, thank Christ.
You are currently stealth.
That's
Sure.
much
Much
better.
better.
26.
That'll
Ooh.
hit.
Okay.
Level
Go
9s,
ahead-
folks.
go
Level
ahead and roll,
9s.
Sneak attack damage on this, of course.
Plus regular.
Yeah.
Don't kill him.
Well, it's we're
None.
considering it non-lethal damage because it's with
It's
the
blood.
base of the dagger.
I'm having
Non-lethal.
an ale while watching this.
So
It is. You're watching a lot of fog.
Yes,
Some
and I'm
shapes
like,
moving
this
in
is
it.
fog.
I'm blindly looking for Trinket.
Probably keyless.
Trinket's in my
Tiberius.
weapon.
Where's Trinket? And you see a giant bear there. You're like, there's Trinket.
Oh.
That's not Trinket. There's
And I
no
hug.
armor.
Oh no. What's happening?
Oh, that's
You're very confused. Trinket now has no armor. It's a slightly different shade.
No, you're close enough, man. Come on, I've been around Trinket enough.
Come on, man.
27 right in the base of his skull.
All right.
Jesus.
Crack! A resounding impact hits, and there are now dwarves that are like, "Eh!" Ooh! Like all the cheering stops, and there's this lull, quiet hits. Bulgus hasn't moved, by the way. You impact, and it's like hitting a wall, and there's this taut, thick stump of muscle where the dwarf's neck is. And as you pull back the dagger, his hand reaches up and grabs your wrist. His head slowly turns towards you, and he goes,
Again, this is great. This is narrative because he, what's his face? It's either Vex or Vax. I don't know which one of them is the male. but he did not get a saving throw because it doesn't matter. This isn't true combat. This is extended narration, extended story. Only with the slight guise of the dice giving some randomness to the choices. So you don't need to give him a saving throw to, save against the grapple. It's much more fun to just show off the power of this force that they're fighting.
Bonus action to disengage.
Oh, no.
Disengage as rogue.
I'm
Sure.
gonna attempt to grapple you.
Oh no.
Go ahead and make either an acrobatics check. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check as well.
Alright.
And if the players bring up a specific mechanics, I know that that's immediately going against what I said, but if the players bring up mechanics, as a DM, I wouldn't tell them, like, no. you know what I'm saying? Like, the player is bringing up a mechanic that they want to pursue, so you should... I think it's good to do a contest there. But, even as the players, if they continued to just go along with the narrative and just make choices, I think that would have been equally as valid and potentially more fun.
Oh, that's fine. That's a 30.
That's a 30?
Yeah.
Whoa!
You managed to just slip out of his grip. Barely. He was about to clamp on. As you step away, he turns towards you and goes,
Oh, I feel alive tonight. Oh, bring it, all of you. I want to smash a face in.
There's like a little bit of ale froth at the corner of his mouth that's like beginning to trip into his beard. It's quite an awful sight for those that are close enough to see it. The rest of you just see just shapes and movement. But there's still this kind of like, okay, what's going on kind of a feel. You hear Arden back going, stop this, I can't even see. What are you doing? Don't destroy another table. She's frantically trying to stop this chaos. There's now a bear. What are you doing, Keyleth?
I'm a bear.
You're a bear.
I'm a bear.
What happened?
Okay, I know I brought it up earlier. This guy, I have not heard him talk except to say that he is making the cards for the one server. Like, is this who? Oh, it's Percy, the human gunslinger. Okay, this is the gunslinger. Man, this is part of the problem and part of the thing with 6 players. Grog, the person who should be most into the fighting pit, has kind of been pushed out of the scene narratively because, 2 people kind of took the spotlight, which is totally fine. Like, players should take the spotlight as it is presented to them and if they have a fun and interesting idea. But when you have 7 people, that's too many. You have all these people just hanging out. I don't even know what he does. Oh, that's the bard? Fucking could have fooled me. All he's done this session is go to the whorehouse and talk about the whores. Get less people.
You're rare. You want anything?
What are you doing?
You see the shape of Balgus just like in the middle of this fight ring.
So
do some tricks. Start clapping and dancing around.
okay, that's a good idea. I
That's
go.
what she tells you.
You can.
I see her as my trainer, and I'm like, boom, boom.
Everyone,
circus bearing.
gather round and
I
watch the
start-
amazing trinkets.
I'm gonna cast.
I
I
start
start
playing music from my shawm instrument, which exists.
Yeah, it does.
A rousing, jaunty, bear-like tune.
And I'm gonna cast prestidigitation and do fireworks on top of it.
Okay, so
You should give me a fez.
now mind you, this is
Can I do little hats?
you haven't done a fez yet. You gotta work on that. Couple more levels.
No. I'll try.
So have you ever seen fireworks go off in a cloud? You get that little. Yeah, there's a bunch of that above you. Cloud
there.
Oh,
light
I'll let
flashing.
the fog
You begin singing your tune. Do you give an inspiration dice to her?
Sure, I would love to give her an.
All right, so
the
a
fog
D8 inspiration dice from the bard as you hear the enchanting, jaunty, bear dancing theme.
Percy still just hanging out.
Bard getting his bard on. Go ahead and make a performance check.
Oh no.
Oh, me?
No, she does.
I mean, good for the bard. Ah! Hooray!
Do you want to add your performance dice?
The inspiration dice.
Sorry, the inspiration dice at the end.
No, it's a natural 20.
Natural 20.
Okay.
I want to save it. I'm inspired for later.
Okay.
I'll think.
Nah,
that.
but it's more
Inspired. You
fun.
weren't even inspired to be inspired for this. All right. So in this array of strange puffy fireworks in the fog. You're doing this little kind of rotation. You actually managed to do a bear cartwheel and like slam into the rip, but it looks pretty cool. You get back up. You're on your hind legs. You dance on one foot for a second. At which point Balgus like. Just starts laughing, doubles over, clutching his stomach, laughing his ass off. Other dwarves start laughing too. The music gets louder, and the band in the back of the tavern begins playing again. There's now this kind of general jovial air restored to the tavern.
I grab an empty cup off of the table and say, "Tips for the bear, right here."
Classic.
Beeline to the bar and say, "Large mug of ale, please." And as soon as it's ready, bring it right over to.
All right, you guys are pulling through a crowd covered in
There you
mist still. You're having a hard time finding your way through the bar, but people are at least now cheering in the mood. There's still some people trying to find their way to the front to see what's going on because they hear the music and they hear the cheering. Like, what's going on over there? They're pushing their way through. You make your way to the bar. You see Adra's just like really nervous, like,
I can fix this. I can fix this.
how? Dude, go!
Quickly.
Here, go! Just hands you one. Doesn't even charge you for it.
I'm still dancing.
Still dancing.
Looking for Bulgus in the crowd.
He's still in the center of the ring.
Oh, right,
no one's still getting near Argus. People are just
I'm
cheering
gonna
off to the
smooth this
side. All right, so Balgus is laughing.
Growl for me. Do a happy growl. Yeah, I got a happy growl. Oh, it's been so long since I've been outside.
Oh, a little tear on the edge of his face. As you approach the side, immediately, instinctively, just slaps it off his arm and turns around.
Take this. You are an impressive specimen, my good man. I have never had a fight that amazing in at least a week. That is something to see. Here, take this, and after this one, there's 3 more.
He's drunk.
Yes.
You're offering him ale,
Yes.
and he's just been laughing at a bear for 2 minutes. Make a
Yes.
persuasion roll with advantage.
Classic.
Persuasion, you say?
Two
15.
rolls.
Two rolls. Yeah, you have advantage.
15.
It happens.
He looks at you with this big grin, and you can now see his like gnarled yellow dwarven teeth, this like railroad of terror that his mouth is. Big smile. He reaches out.
Railroad
his
of
beard's kinda
terror.
poofing over the side, grabs it, and goes, "See, now this is dwarven hospitality." He lifts his drink up, and it spills a little bit on his arm. He's like, "Hey!" And everyone kind of lifts up and cheers again. You hear.
Railroad of Terror is delightful. I just wanted to give that the moment it deserves. I love that.
Everyone still keeps drinking through the fog. It's like a bad sauna in here right now. Everyone's just kind of finding their way through. At which point now, Bulls kind of slaps you on the shoulder, takes a drink, and wanders out of the fight ring, goes and finds a table to sit down and begin chugging what you gave him.
Why don't we adjourn for the evening, retire to our rooms? Oh God,
Yeah,
yes.
and I guess we can let Trinket change.
Why don't we wait till we're upstairs?
Can I take the mouse?
Here, rat mouse thing.
Okay. Is his armor teeny tiny too?
When if you choose while polymorphing him, you could make it as a visual aesthetic, but because it was a quick impact, I will say it just looks like a normal mouse right now. Sorry, but
Wah, wah.
Adorable little don't poke him.
all right.
I grab a half of mug of ale just off the table and say, "Dwarven compatriots, we could not have expected a better welcome here in Craghammer. We'll see you tomorrow night for round 2. Thank you."
Huzzah! Yeah.
3 more. You said 3 more.
You see his empty cup on the table.
We did say 3 more. I laugh and hustle over and say, 1, 2, 3, put them in a row for this gentleman right here.
She's like, thanks. She gives you like a really earnest like thank you. You now have a very good idea of how a good third of the tables in this tavern are repaired. All right, you guys head back up to the room. Yeah, that was like a.
That's the first day in Craghammer. Easy peasy.
I have a feeling that's probably
I really hope they don't split tomorrow.
gonna go down at some point.
Misunderstanding. I'm sure he's a lovely gentleman.
So you guys head back up to the room.
All of their mics consistently getting quieter. I wouldn't know anything about audio issues. I've never dealt with that.
Which it's not a hallway built for a bear. You're like your shoulders are kind of squeezing through. Well, each one of your rooms comfortably fits 2 people, maybe, like 1.5. So, I mean, Trinket, if you help push Trinket through the door, Trinkets thankfully dwarves are fairly wide folks. The doors are a little, built for stouter folk. They're just not very tall. You actually have to like bend through a grog to get into your room. And the bed, on the bed that you lie on, your legs dangle a good 2 feet off the bottom, at maximum. But you can push Trinket through with like a 1, 2, 3, poof. Or you can just carry her through as a mouse and then have her stuck in there.
That's all right. Neither of us need a blanket now.
Well,
How long can I keep our mouse?
Trinket's a boy. All of
Up to
you,
an hour.
please.
Up to an hour?
I believe it is, yeah. Concentration.
I'm trying.
I mean, are there like stables?
Yeah. Let me go. Can I go downstairs and ask about stables? Maybe you can stay in the stable.
You have to talk to Edward. She's like, no stables at this establishment. We do have a downstairs storage area you can probably stay in. It's not
It
too
is a
bad.
very
Little mouth.
Look, again, I was talking about it earlier. This is one of the problems with summons, especially big summons, is that you kind of just have to deal with them all the time. Like, at least a warlock or a wizard familiar is small. As long as you find a place where they're not going to freak everyone out, they can just kind of hang out in your room overnight. But a bear, like Beastmaster, is a cool class. Like that sort of pet summoner is interesting. But in D&D, where it's free flow, it's narrative, you want to account for everything, it can just kind of be a pain to run. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, he seems to think it's all right. Let's go with the storage room.
Anything that looks edible, you can eat it. It's fine.
That's not true.
Just kidding.
I'll charge you later.
Alright, so you bring Trinket back down. Do you release your polymorph?
Yeah.
Trinket becomes bear again. It's let's say the room's probably a good 40 feet by 30
Oh,
feet.
so he's
It's
fine.
half of it's filled with barrels and crates and storage of dried foods and
That's great for Trinket to rub on up to.
just rummaging into one of the half-open sacks of dried meat. That's going to be put on your bill. All right, so you head back to your rooms for the evening to rest.
Take a nap.
Anything you guys want to do? Preparation for the next day?
No, let's get it on.
We should give our comment cards to
I think we should all turn in our comment cards.
All right.
Oh, our comment cards.
Our comment cards for the boy. I will say something that is not necessarily a hot take, but that I'll say about the is there anything else you would like to do? I feel like most of the time when you are in a situation where you're asking everyone, is there anything else you would like to do? You can probably just move on and the players will interrupt you. Maybe that's rude, maybe that's my own personal style, but I just kind of like to keep the pace moving. And then if I say like, okay, so all you guys are going to sleep for the night, slight pause. It's a nice night, nothing too crazy, blah, blah, blah. And, narrate how they didn't get ambushed, and then it's the next morning. And as long as you take a moment, maybe spend some time doing some descriptive language, a player will normally interrupt you and be like, oh, actually, I want to give out those calling cards. So, that's a little bit of a nitpick, but that is some slight DM advice, maybe a hot take.
Turn your comment cards for Balan.
I can't stress how important this is.
Oh, and look, and now people are fucking leaving.
No, really. No, it's fine. Speak over me. I
Here,
don't
take
care.
him the extras. So then he has
I'm
some
going to give him a few extras so that he
few
can
extras.
have more comments as time
You guys are so.
I guess to be fair, Percy really just wanted some time narratively. He wanted to actually talk for the first time in an hour and a half.
Kind with those comment cards.
Perhaps we should all go to bed and the humans back in North Hollywood should take a pee break.
The humans?
The humans.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. We want to take a quick restroom break for the folks here.
You okay?
Someone's already taken a restroom break. But also, to be fair, if they have any plans of splitting the party the next day, they can just take restroom breaks then. Because they love splitting well, I don't know that they love splitting the party. I'm totally basing it off of the one day that I've seen. But they have 7 people. So it's pretty likely that they're going to split the party again. And if they do, that's when you should take your bio breaks. Just saying.
Folks here might want to use the restroom real fast. You know what? Go ahead and play some of the intro videos, and we'll come back here in a minute to continue the game while everyone rests and empties their blatters.
Blatters.
Commercial break.
Are we?
Right, listen up.
Oh.
If you have ale, then you have a...
Okay, so we've already seen all this. Dun 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 dun. Oh.
Fight alongside her and protect
Wunderbar.
her fiercely. Also, he is adorable and gives expert massages.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We've had our pee breaks. We've had our refills of our drinks.
Bio breaks.
I've done the fireball, so I think we're
Hi, doggy. My dog's in the room.
The party has taken the rest for the evening. Once again, this is one of those weird experiences where you wake up, not because the sun rises, because you can't see it in the dwarven city of Kraghammer, but eventually you all come to consciousness naturally. What is...
Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. Has anyone of the 4 viewers here, has anyone ever worked a night job? Because I have, and I have done a sleep schedule where I am sleeping during the day and waking up at night, and it's odd. Like it takes some like really distinct getting used to, and even then I don't feel like I ever really got used to it. To be fair, I only did that schedule for maybe 6 or 8 months, no more than a year. But it was weird. Like I never really got used to like waking up and it wasn't light out, and like I would walk around and people were sleeping, and I would drive on the road and no one was there. It was nice in a lot of ways. Like it was very relaxed. I'm kind of introverted, so it was nice not having a ton of people around, but it was also like, I don't know, something about my body just like felt off, and it took me forever to get onto that sleep schedule. And then it took me like probably like 2 or 3 weeks where my body just felt terrible all the time. And then, I kind of faded into like feeling okay, feeling all right. And then when I went to like go back to a normal sleep schedule, body snapped into it instantly. It was like, holy shit, thank God. Like, thank goodness we're back. So I can't imagine. I have a feeling that the dwarven, after generations of living underground, their circadian rhythm would be, or whatever passes for a circadian rhythm, would be significantly different and used to this sort of thing. But still, it was, I don't know, it was interesting.
Is your plan of action?
Oh, Jesus, we should have talked about this while we were all peeing.
We're going to beat up everybody, right?
Are we going to the manor?
I say we have brunch and we go to the manor.
Brunch.
I want to have
Some
brunch
eggs
with
Benedict.
I want dwarven brunch.
I want a traditional
It's very
Dwarven
good.
brunch. Thank you.
Dwarven eggs are very good.
I tell them of my
Very
experience.
small.
Okay. So Tiberius fills you all in about his experience trying to get into the
Now,
house
you almost
underground.
got killed.
I didn't, certainly not. I just couldn't get in the door. They're
Why
rather rude.
did you think that after the magic hand failed, that the big thunder ice wave would work?
What I thought is I could cover the room with ice and just merely step over it. I didn't think it would dissolve my ice. I mean,
That's fair.
Sleep.
In his defense, there's only
Yes.
one way to find out.
That's true.
I want to make sure,
a good sorcerer always tries all his tricks before, turning around, which is what I did. And I think we should go back there because I feel that's significant.
Salute to Tiberius. I agree.
We will go back there. I don't think it's the next order of business, but I think that we're not leaving the city without dealing with that.
Definitely.
Do we need to do something with the comment cards?
Please.
Did you not fill out your comment card?
No, I did, but I know like 3 letters, so
I'm
it's
sure that's
like A, F, and A.
That sounds very positive.
It's the thought that counts, Grog.
I'm
It's the
learning.
thought that counts.
Did you put
Alpha.
a smiley face
Fa.
next to the A and A?
I'll
Off.
cover my hand in ink.
That works.
That was
Shall we? Shall we try to make our way to the manor then?
The Greyspine Manor with our cask of fancy ale.
So does the light ever change? Does the light ever change being underground?
No, it is a perpetual low red glow from all the stones that are embedded around the street.
It's all jacked up. It's like,
I feel really sleepy and also very awake at the same time.
Yeah, no.
Oh, dwarves.
Yes.
All right.
So what do you think?
Now
Yes.
I'm
go.
curious.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
Coffee.
You guys make your way after your brunch, your delicious dwarven brunch.
Thank you.
Which is very alcoholic.
I wonder.
On the way there.
Dude, that's actually a really good little tidbit of world building, is any sort of underground society that regularly welcomes outsiders. So, you know, a dwarven, set of people living in a mountain, right? If they have decent trade, which it seems like this place is very mercantile, and they regularly invite visitors, which, is maybe not the case here, but imagine it is. Coffee would be the biggest luxury item in this place, where where outsiders' sleep schedules are so fucked. Like, coffee, that would be like the biggest tourist trap sort of thing. And I actually feel like at that point, dwarves would cultivate, and there would be a big roasting scene in the dwarven town, not necessarily because the dwarves drink it, but because visitors who who are not used to that sleep schedule would need coffee. It's a little tidbit of world building.
It's like being in New Orleans for the weekend. Every meal is going to come with something alcoholic.
You're turning yourself
Did you catch
into
that?
a
He
dwarf?
just turned himself into a dwarf.
You did?
Tiberius went into a dwarven form.
What kind of dwarf? What do you look like?
He's very handsome for a dwarf.
Oh, yes. You should be
Oh
a
yeah, what
lady
kind of dwarf? A lady dwarf?
I will not do that again. Oh, you did do that. You did take it as a troll.
Almost! She shot off the penis.
What's going on?
That's where the troll.
What?
Don't you remember back? I was almost
Backstory.
raped by trolls.
There was a cavern interaction with two male trolls that they had stealthed up behind as a party. I'll explain this to the audience. Tiberius then polymorphed into a female troll to try and Bugs Bunny them, not realizing that dwarves who are underground don't encounter female trolls. Sorry, trolls encounter female trolls often enough to have a one-track mind, and so he nearly got himself in a very bad situation. That was remedied by the party attacking and Vex over here shooting off the troll's dick.
Again, I did not anticipate Critical Role being this sexually toned. It's not a bad thing if that's what you're into. It's just, this is kind of throwing me for a loop. I was not anticipating it.
Which then went into Bag of Holding, which is
For a long time.
That's also where the hashtag not all trolls came from.
Yep, hashtag not all trolls came from that game.
That is all horrible.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
Bring it
bring it back.
You guys make your way to the residential district. The same guards are there who were there the previous night that encountered you guys, and so as you roll up with an entourage.
Oh.
How many are there? Currently there are 4.
I wave at Thompson.
He's actually not there. It's the 2 others that were with you. He is noticeably absent.
Ooh, he's being disciplined.
He's been given the day off.
Oh, really?
But as you can see, we brought one of your citizens with us to show us a tour of the city.
That's you.
Citizen, I haven't seen you, but what's your name?
Oh, my name is Tiberius Crackhammer.
That's a...
So, like Johnny New York.
We're in Craghammer.
Oh, John Hammer.
Johnny New York.
What is it? Crackhammer? Was it?
My family founded this city. That's why my accent sounds so different and fucked up.
You met Stronghammer. Crackhammer is my father's cousin.
How drunk are you?
I've been drinking since I've woken.
Persuasion check.
See, he is one of them.
Yeah, he must be.
19.
Oh.
Oh, my.
Oh, I hope.
Tiberius Crackhammer.
All right. Now, I haven't seen you around, but obviously it's a bit early to be that fucked up.
I'm very depressed, you know.
Well, what's your business, if I might ask again? You've already seen the statue.
Yeah, we saw the statue, but we wanted to get a better look at it. So we brought this gift for the Grey Spines, and we wanted to present it to them.
The two nearest carvers step forward and kind of look at it. One of them is like,
nice.
Is it good? Okay, I kind of felt like the brewer was taking him for a ride with this, with that gift. But is it? It seems like it might actually be good.
Tell you what. If you let us taste a bit of that, we'll let you go.
Ooh. Oh, I mean, I've been drinking a lot of it. Sure.
A thimble of it, because if any of it goes missing. Is it sealed? Can we tell if it's sealed?
you look at it, it does not have a current, any sort of port or exit on it. It is just a solid barrel.
Okay.
Maybe we can save some for them.
If we
save some
open
for
it,
them.
it'll kind of ruin the barrel, right?
That's right.
So maybe
Can
we
we
can
save some for
save
you?
you a bottle of it when we open it inside, and we'll give it to you later.
It's a very persuasion.
That's
Should I
fair
roll
enough.
That one that failed me earlier, or my little dice?
The little dice, they haven't come out yet.
Tiny dice.
Itty bitty dice.
Teeny tiny dice. Okay, that's better.
I rolled a 23.
Okay.
Wunderbar. That's
They'll look at
perfect.
each other and be like,
If you can save enough for all four of us, please do. Bring it back. We're looking forward to it.
Do you have any flasks we can use to fill them up?
We've got
We've
stuff.
got
Okay,
some
good. I'm
stuff,
just
don't
asking.
We'll be waiting, and if you don't show the Duke, we'll go right to our supervisor.
Here's the thing.
they'll kind of nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I can save 4 bottles worth, but I'll save as much as I can.
Just say yes.
Yeah, just say yes. They asked for a taste. Just say yes.
Hey, I've got it covered.
On our father's good name, we will bring you some of
Who the fuck's your father?
you know who we are. That is a promise.
It's a good night.
They all look at each other.
Fine. Remember, we're waiting.
And they'll kind of look a little, like kind of lick their lips a little.
I really thought that the brewer was fucking him with this barrel. I thought it was gonna be like
You
shitty.
can see House Great Spine once again, guys. For those who haven't been there before, it's a beautiful.
It was just gonna be
iron
like
gate
dressed
around
up all
it with
nice.
The spikes at the top. You can see the entire front yard. It's about a good 80-yard walk to the front of the building itself. It's quite a distance from the front gate, and that entire area is filled with like a stone garden of various small sculptures and just interesting knickknacks they've collected and kind of put on display as a small museum as you approach the front of House Great Spine.
Yes.
You get to the front door. It is a large.
Fuck, he did it the first time he described something, which, fair enough, he was probably reading off of a paper. But he did it the first time, and then he never did it again. When you're describing things, DMs, when you're describing things, you mention a smell and something that they hear. The crackling of leaves under their boots, or the crackling of gravel under their boots as they walk up. The sharp click of their boots on the cobblestones, right? Gravel versus sharp click on the cobblestones creates two totally different feels walking up. If it's gravel, it evokes more of a graveyard, sort of unwelcome type feeling where, you know, they are clearly not wanted here because there's gravel, it's not swept up, people aren't expected to walk up here. It's a layer of separation. If it's the sharp click of cobblestones, it presents this very clean, very orderly, very manicured type of approach. And either one of those is good. Talking about what you smell, maybe you smell the distinct lack of smoke that is pervasive throughout the city. You smell deep incense burning from inside of black granite pillars. All of these things help set the tone for what the player should expect going in.
Large double oak door, about maybe 10 feet tall.
As opposed to this, where he's just describing things that they see and essentially drawing a map for them. Talking about essentially props that they could use, things they could interact with. Like, all of these are giving the players options, which is amazing. You want to give the players options, as many as is feasible. But you also want them to feel like they're in the scene. So.
4 feet wide, currently closed. There is no handle on the door.
No handle?
No.
So
Let's
Hold
go.
on, wait. Don't knock on anything. Things shock you here.
Let's go knock on the door.
I want to double check to see if there's a bell to ring or if there seems to be some sort of calling.
Easily enough, you see next to the door there is a small chain that just protrudes from the stone wall and has a small bulbous ball at the end.
Ding ding.
You can pull it. Not
Ding,
a
ding,
ding,
ding.
but a large.
Oh.
It is a heavier chain than you expected. As you pull on it, you feel like some sort of large hammer-like object is slamming into a brass-type material as it echoes and resounds in the building, definitely announcing your presence.
Exactly what I was just talking about the sound. It's this deep sound. Creates a whole different vibe than if it had been a knocker, a bell, anything like that. Bell is much more friendly, much more, inviting. This deep gong sets up this total, mystique and very, impressive stature.
Percy, can I try?
If you must,
Okay.
yes.
It echoes into the
let's
house.
just
I just
hold
wanted
off
to
for
do
now,
that
all
once.
right?
You've never seen a chain before.
No.
Fine.
Should we
No.
ding dong ditch?
No.
Scanlan, perhaps a little ditty on the strings would ease our introduction.
I'll start singing a little jaunty welcoming song. Hello, hello.
A
we're here
welcoming
to
song?
pay you
Is that a
calling.
thing?
Hello, hello. I don't know what rhymes with calling.
Bawling at the very least. I
Yes,
thought you would go
excuse-
right there.
yes.
This is true. All right. You're just going to play the music just for the sake of presenting the answer.
Yes, but and for now.
All right. About 10 seconds pass before the doors, you hear a large and one of the doors opens up. And you see a dwarf with long gray hair that's slicked back and pulled into a ponytail, very small trimmed beard, very proper, steps out in long black robes. And goes,
Can I help you?
Percy?
Yes, Percival Frederick Steinbaum Music Kowalski de Rolla III.
Percy's doing something. Let's go. He didn't do shit the first day. I love it.
You can call him Percy. You can simply call me Percy, thank you. We're here to discuss some business with Lord Greyspine, and we have, of course, brought gifts and our charming company.
As well as our dwarven compatriot to introduce.
Yes, I'm quite drunk right now.
gives you an awkward.
Just let him be a dwarf. It's not impressive that you know another dwarf.
Like a look of trying to place your face. Just,
Which lord are you looking for?
Nostock. Actually, Nostock.
Nostock.
Is he the nice one? I would like the nice one.
Nostock, I'm afraid, is currently working at the quarry.
Oh, of
Isn't
course
your
he
local
is.
before?
If Graden is here, is that his name? Graden?
you can just look at
Graden is not taking visitors.
That's a shame we brought this half barrel of ale right
And
here.
some very, very attractive mining contracts. But if there's no one here to
What?
talk about them, then
If you're talking mining contracts, you want to go ahead and head to the quarry and talk to Lord Pt2, looking up again at my notes. You know where I talk to Nostock Greyspine, he's the one who runs the quarry.
Oh, of course.
As far as the Iron Keeper himself, I mean no offense, but only official political business.
Well, this is
Of course.
definitely official political business, and I will also say, could you direct us to the quarry? We are new in town.
The dog.
Obviously.
Hey, doggy. Hi, doggy.
You want to show them what the quarry is, friend?
I have no idea what's been going on.
He's been drinking since very early this morning.
He's on vacation. I have to excuse him.
But I must say, I'm having a wonderful time.
Yeah. Friends are in town. He's showing us
gonna
around.
show you all the dog.
What was your name again?
the dwarf kind of gives you a subtle look and goes,
My name is Margaret. I am the servant of the Iron Keeper himself.
Margaret, of course you're the servant. You're filled with poise and sophistication, and of course, above all, protocol. I would not wish you to break protocol, which is why just some simple directions for those of us who are wishing to do some official business. Be right on your way, and your house will return to order.
Right.
It's not a bad.
Is not open to business outside a pre-approved protocol understanding. understanding.
Of course
If you
not.
don't have a pre-approved meeting put within a ledger, you won't be seen.
Of course not.
Yeah.
But for the mining contracts, however, when we need to speak to Nostock, is there any way? I hear it's very hard to get down into the mines. It's very well guarded, right? That's why we came to speak to him here.
He kind of leans over and looks at the cask of ale and says,
Yes.
Down to the mines, you just have to go to one of the chain platform posts, and the Egyptian that will bring you to the base area. Find your way to the mines there. That should be enough to get Nostock's attention. The rest is up to you.
Lovely. Thank you.
One moment before we adjourn. Do we want to try to get into this place, or are we just going to go to the mines?
All right. I do like this. You know, I spent a lot of time in the earlier part of this session talking about how I didn't really love the lore dumpy sort of NPCs. This NPC is much better. He is giving them the time of day because they deserve it, because they have this essentially bribe, and they're not being overly rude. But he's still not giving them more information than they need. He is telling them where people are because they have this bribe, and he is telling them how to get there, but he's not giving them more than that. He's not talking about, what he thinks of places, and it fits for the servant of this great and noble house. But I think that a little bit more of this, a little bit more, essentially, discretion, I would have liked to see a lot more with the previous NPCs.
Maybe we should just talk to Nostock first.
And ditch this place?
Every time we break into someone's house, things go
Nostock,
poorly.
we're trying to get to the mines, essentially, so.
I think he's still listening.
Good man, good day. We'll be on our way then.
Margaret,
Thank you.
you've been wonderful. Thank you so much. We plan on keeping some of this ale and bringing it back to the household. Would you like some when we open the cask?
He looks down at the cask, looks up at you and says,
Of course he would.
I would not turn down a sip or two.
Lovely. We'll be sure to save you a small bottle.
Lovely.
I'm going to turn invisible.
as he's looking over there, you are vanish. All right.
And I'm sneaking into the house.
Oh,
Brother, why? Why are you splitting from the party and what? Huh? Why? Also, verbal somatic components. There's no way he can just do that in front of this dude. But whatever. That's separate from, why? You're just getting to the mine. He got bored. He didn't do shit the previous day, and he just wanted to do something. I've ranted about it at several points. He's like, I don't know why I'm doing it, whatever. I've ranted about it several points. When you have 7 players and people do not get their individual time, they will find a way to make individual time for themselves. And I think that that's what we're seeing right now.
all right. So
We are off the reservation.
Oi, oi, oi.
It is all of our business.
well, good day. And he steps back into the doorway and closes the large oak door. You're now standing in the foyer of House Grayspine. A luxurious foyer. The actual floor itself is a fine kind of dark velvet red carpet. There are tapestries across the walls and small wooden end tables set against the edges of the hallway.
Talk about what it smells
This
like.
area that contain sculptures and small vases.
Only visuals.
And plants that exist underground specifically. There's a large stairway that leads up
Hearing.
to a portion of the house and 2 doors on each side that lead to rooms you no longer can see.
I use the earring.
Smells. Noises. You talk about how eerily silent it is. Talk about the smell of the oak, or maybe it's musty. It feels like it hasn't been well used lately. Come on.
Whisper.
What are you doing, Stanley? What are you doing?
I don't know. Give me 20 minutes.
20 minutes. That's okay. Let's all step away from the house.
I mean, of course we can step away from.
Does he need to ask if he needs assistance or diversion? Diversion.
We can think. Diversion.
So, Mogram, of course,
we can all
wipes
talk
his
to each
hands
other.
and walks
Do we
away
all
like,
have them?
Yes.
Fucking foreigners.
I I follow him where he's going.
Okay.
My nervousness, I let out a little bit of a fart as we
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Why are you making it harder on yourself? Oh, that plus 14.
Holy shit. This is not me.
Plus 2, 16.
Because you're invisible, I'll give you advantage on that. Go ahead and roll. Alright, looks like the kitchen area of the abode.
I'm just snooping around, trying to see if the...
I'll say within the time that you're within the house, you wander through quite a few rooms. There's a wonderful music room as well. You find another sham within.
Okay.
What do you call it again?
A sham? A sham. You find another sham within.
Oh my god, that was terrible. So I think we just missed a bit of description of the house, which is just sounds like it's a fucking nice mansion.
More finely crafted than the one that you have. A gift of floors, if you will.
I'm so tempted, but no.
Does he have an earring on? Does he have one of our earrings?
Yeah, we all do.
No, not everyone.
You only made a few.
Yeah, who
just
all
me
has
and
an
him.
earring?
He can talk to me, apparently.
Yeah, you guys have to.
Tiberius, tell him to look for paperwork of something. For the mines.
Scanlan, look for
It's not bad.
And by the way,
Salvaging this.
hearing me right now, you all have the
Not everyone.
Not everyone, you
No,
only
no,
made a
no.
few,
You only
remember?
made like 5 or something.
All right.
So you can only afford 5.
That's right. Do all those things, Scanlan.
Great.
Laura Bailey salvaging this random decision.
Also come across a couple of bed chambers that are locked. Pretty hefty lock.
Try.
Okay. You make your way up the stairway, and you can see there's a long hallway that leads to essentially a throne room that is still partially under construction, mostly finished. And you can see it actually was an additional build onto this house. House Greyspine, when the current Ironkeeper went into office, it seems began to have this room built. And so it's nearly finished, but it's an extravagant room with a large stone and dark metal throne. Steps lead up to it, and this kind of raised dais-like pedestal in the center of the room. You can see a series of great, kind of magically glowing and flickering lanterns across the landscape. And you see there are 2 dwarves inside that are finishing up the stonework. They're just like, doing various forms of masonry and plastering in areas and carving out, chiseling out pieces of stone to make it look intricately carved in its flavor. But other than that, the room is currently empty.
Shit, there's nothing to steal.
Drop a deuce in the bedroom.
Damn it, Scanlan, just get out of there.
It's almost like this was a random decision with absolutely no reason that is just like faffing around, which, to be fair, I love just faffing around. I'm all about it, especially in home games. But when you're making an entertainment thing with 7 people, you're just kind of walking around chilling. I mean, I guess they're all having fun. Maybe I'm being too critical, but weird choice. And I think it is mostly just because he was bored, which I get, because there's 7 people.
What are you doing?
Max, do you have one?
Invisible poo.
Percy has one.
I might as well try one of the doors that's locked and see if I can pick it, but I'm not good at that, so I'll try.
Okay, do you have, or have you on your person any sort of thieves' tools?
I have a forgery kit, a poisoner's kit.
Yes.
Forge some thieves' tools real quick.
Climbing gear. And a whip.
Man, I have one of the earrings, and I say, Scanlan, what exactly is the purpose for this little escapade, and will it be ending shortly?
Can I reply?
You can through the message-based ear check.
Just trust me that I have no idea what I'm doing.
So do you wish to pick one of the doors?
Do it.
Do it, try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
and then
try
run
one.
away.
Okay, you have disadvantage on this.
Of course I do.
So
I
roll
love how we're
twice.
just watching.
Debatably can't even do it. I mean, at this point, if I'm the DM here and he's like, I'd like to pick the lock, I'm like, with what? And if he just lists off everything that he listed, I'm gonna straight up tell him. I'm gonna be like, maybe there are some materials and or implements either in the forger's kit or the poisoner's kit, you can choose, that you can use to make this check. If the check fails, the tools will likely break. Obviously the entire kit's not out of commission, but you will need to get your kit repaired before you can use it again if this check fails. Like, I am fully down to let people do wacky stuff, but there needs to be consequences for someone who is not good at something doing that thing rather than just making it harder. Because I do think that just making it harder is fine. But in this case, there's no time pressure. He's invisible. It doesn't seem like there's really any sort of threat. So if there's no threat, if there's no clock, then how long it takes or him failing are not appropriate or significant enough punishments. So you need to build in and bake in some other punishment if they try this random action that they are not good at. And the reason for that, and you might say, like, well, let people do whatever they want. And you know, this is maybe another hot take, but, you know, there are classes for a reason. Like, he is not a rogue. He does not have fucking... If he had thieves' tools, it'd be one thing. But he doesn't even have thieves' tools. Like, he does not have any of the tools with which to do this. It's like, oh, can I make a 3-point shot and I don't have a basketball? It's like, sure, you can try with a toaster, but it's going to break the toaster if you miss. Like, that's just what's going to happen, you know?
We'll mourn your death.
We'll consider this prestigious straight dexterity check.
11 plus 0.
Right.
Futz with the door for a good minute, trying to bend a piece of like wire you had, looking to forge some tumblers.
What?
And eventually get to a point where you're at tink. Ooh. I mean, and it broke.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't do 2 spells at once, so I will give it up, and I'll make my way to the door.
Okay. The door is currently closed.
I become uninvisible and I cast dimension door.
All right. You blink through this small, kind of purplish arcane doorway. It brings you directly outside. You guys are waiting. It's gonna just pops into view.
Holy oh God!
It was crazy in there. People were farting everywhere. Really? It was not me.
Really scandalous.
They're building a throne room. There were some locked doors. Man, I wish you could have been there. It was exciting, but ultimately pointless. So let's go.
I mean, I'm glad he's at least a little self-aware. It was exciting, but ultimately pointless.
Down to the
I would like to stress again that none of these dwarves are our enemies at all.
We are not in enemy lands. We don't even know if these people don't seem like the best rulers, but they don't seem to be actively tyrannical. Like, let's just go to the mine. We have the bribe. Like, what are we doing?
Just want to go.
Soon, I'm sure.
And then we do not have our healer at present.
We do not have
It's okay.
Well, we do, but
Understand.
she's very distracted.
She's
and is
very
not feeling
quiet.
herself.
Right.
She wanted to stay at the inn.
She's feeling awfully BAFTA today, so.
Oh yes, quite the heavy.
Let's make our way to the mines, shall we?
The metal poisoning, yes.
To the mark.
Yes.
So,
Let's go get this drunk dwarf.
yes, the bard was doing the lockpick with lockpicks. He was fashioning it from wire. Exciting but pointless. All right, so you make your way to the edge of the center ring. You find that there are long spiral staircases that move to the bottom, or there are elevators that bring you to the bottom floor. The elevators are chain-based, kind of like a ratchet-type system, with 2 carvers there, of course. As you approach one, eventually you talk to them, but they lead you down there. But once again, give you kind of a look of what's your back.
We point at the ale and give him a thumbs up.
They kind of nod and let you pass. As you continue downward into the lower area, you can see the redstone that lets a lot of the kind of atmospheric glow of Craghammer is used less and less, and a lot of more central torches are now placed, sconces. Almost like the stone itself either is just rarer the further down you go.
Now, it is a bit hard with a city that is literally like different levels. I think if I was running this, I would make potentially some in-between levels, maybe some terraces, something like that. And rather than every other NPC that they come across being like, oh, don't go down to the lower levels, like, the further they get away from the entrance, the more hostile people become. Like, it seems like it's like, oh, upper level, we're good. Second level, third level, actively hostile. Like, that's what I'm anticipating based on what all of the NPCs have said. And when you have that sort of stagnation, you need warnings, like you need explicit warnings before they go down there. Otherwise, they'll be surprised and it'll potentially pull them out of it. So I think, I don't know if that explicit stratification really works, like, ultimately. I don't know how much I love that as a general, like, location setup. I would rather have some in-between areas that players can explore. Like, maybe these elevators are neighborhoods in and of themselves, that run on a schedule. And so, like, you have to catch the neighborhood at noon if you want to go down. And maybe the neighborhoods are, a little wary. And so when they get on the neighborhood, people are like, oh, like, and they're treating them real different. And it gives them some clues that maybe everywhere off of the terrace isn't so friendly to them. And they can choose to ignore that, which gives some great dramatic irony. For example, someone like Grog or Tiberius, they can choose to roleplay their characters as if they're not picking up on these signals at all. Whereas if the NPCs specifically tell them, hey, people aren't going to like you down below, then Grog and Tiberius cannot just ignore that blatant statement. But if people are making inferences, making kind of weird gestures, and it's this more gradual gradient, then Tiberius and Grog can really play on that dramatic irony, where all of the players, all of the audience knows that they are going into hostile territory, but they can play the characters as if the characters don't know. So having the NPCs spell it out for you really honestly takes away options from the players, which is hard, and I don't want to nitpick this too much. This is just, my stream of consciousness as I watch this.
Or has less of a illuminating power the deeper into the earth. You eventually reach to the center part of the town. You now see, from where you're standing, a number of large structures in the very, very center of the bottom part of the city of Craghammer. You can see, where is it? There is a giant domed temple that's made of like gold and bronze in the center. It looks almost like a gargantuan gazebo that has doorways on each side that is currently closed off. No guards at it though. You do see a number of other buildings. There's a large, heavy-looking foundry far off to the left of you that has a little bit of smoke that's coming off of it, but most of it looks to be filtered into a giant metallic funnel that is then placed into the rock, almost like all the smoke-based exhaust is being funneled outside of the mountain. That is the closest, that's the foundry, and then to the right of you, you kind of wander a bit and you can begin to see that part of the mountainside to the far right has that look of a strip mine, or like a large portion of the minerals has been pulled away and is currently being mined further. So that looks like probably one of the better places to look in looking for the Grey Spine Quarry. You
Fair
eventually
enough.
make your way to the outside of the quarry. You now look down into three large pits that just descend deeply into the side of the mountain. This mine has been going for quite some time, and a large chunk of this looks like it may be being prepped, almost like the mine is what's growing Craghammer. The more they mine into the mountain, the more they fill the mined area with further city construction. It's this self-perpetuating cycle of expanding the city downward.
Sure.
Currently in the quarry, you can see there are a number of large stone dwarven buildings on the edge of it, one of which is the largest of them all. Looks like it's made of more of a black and red kind of iron aesthetic. Some of it's been oxidized a little bit and kind of has that rough and tumble iron feel. And that one has the most guards around the base.
I will say, as I'm, listening to this more and more, I do slightly want to revise something that I said regarding the smells and the hearing, all of these sensory details that I felt like Matt wasn't maybe hitting on as much as he should have. Music can do a heavy lift in that department. Like, if you are really specifically choosing your music and you are switching at very distinct points, music can play a really central role, and it can really help define the vibe of the entire setting, location, wherever you are. I find that sometimes it's insufficient. I think that you can do a lot more with audio description. Again, when we were talking earlier about walking up to the manor, about the difference between, your boots crunching gravel and your boots clicking on cobblestone. Both of those are things that it would be kind of weird to bake into the music of the scene, because I'm sure it would loop eventually, and then you would just have like this crunching boot sound over and over again. But you know, those sorts of descriptions can go a long way, but also music can do a lot of lifting. So maybe I was a little bit too harsh on that, but I don't want to fully retract my statement. I think that they should have a lot more description of audio and of smells, which is really disappointing because at the very beginning, he was doing a great job of it, but I think it might have been some pre-written lore description.
The carvers are gathered entirely around it. Looking down into the center of the quarry, you can see towards the bottom there are a number of tunnels that lead into the hillside of the Cliffkeep Mountains proper surrounding Craven. So
let's go where the guards are.
Let's walk towards the guards.
Let's just do this directly, I think.
Yes?
Yeah.
Just
wait.
swords
Before
out.
we go up,
Yes.
I take the cask of ale and
Again, everything that we've seen up to this point, force doesn't work, stealth doesn't work. Even like Vax trying to go around and like stealth knock out the brawler didn't work. Him like trying to sneak away to spy didn't work. Scanlan turning invisible and sneaking around the mansion didn't work. Like clearly this place is locked the fuck down. I think it's very appropriate to say, hey, maybe stealth is not the right answer unless we prep more. And that's like, you know, Scanlan was just doing it randomly. Vax was just kind of, you know, he was experimenting. He was seeing what was up, which is good. Players should do that. But I think that Vax is totally right in like the direct approach at all points has so worked out, like to a weird degree where like NPCs are weirdly like chill with them, just like these total strangers who are not dwarves. Like strangers are super okay with them. So even in this lower area where they've been warned that they'll be more hostile, I agree with Vax. I think the direct approach is much more, it's much more worthwhile.
and I grow some pretty flowers on it, and I make a nice pretty bow, and I shine it up a little bit, and make a nice bow now.
Good work, Epi.
No, I'm just. It looks.
I'm
Like
sure
a fruit
that
basket.
now.
It
It
looks
does
like a
not
fruit
look like a
basket.
fruit. It's not that ostentatious.
The Ale of the Month Club. This
Those
is
are
probably-
some
Jesus
powerful
Christ.
powers.
In her defense, they probably don't see flowers too
That
often.
is very
It's
fair.
a nice
That
touch.
is very fair.
All right.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna take
exotic.
this opportunity to cast Stone Skin on myself.
Okay, Stone Skin is placed on you.
Are you a dwarf?
Also, a little bit of a look. I'm not a big like, you know, you always need to yes and you know, sometimes being more negative can be funny, it can be entertaining, but there's a little bit of like, look, she's trying something, like just say yes and move on. I don't know why you gotta be like, nah, that sucks. Not to be too much on Taliesin, but I think that that's a good lesson for players is like sometimes some banter and some, you know, kind of rivalry can be fun. And I don't know the dynamic. Obviously, I'm hopping in pretty far into the campaign. It sounds like they played a lot of Pathfinder before this. But sometimes you just yes and. You just nod along and be like, hell yeah. You know?
Dwarf still?
Are you a dwarf made of stone?
You have not turned alt yourself off. You are still a dwarf.
Yeah, that's fine.
But Stone Skin is a concentration spell, so yes, that would eliminate the alt yourself spell. Okay.
Oh, so you're
revert
back
into
to
your dragon form, rogue self. The Stone Skin is in effect. You using your what's it called again? The
Druid craft.
Druid craft. Thank you. The
really
prestidigitation
creative.
for hippies. Portions of the wood begin to sprout from the outside of this dark wood barrel and form these kind of entangled ivy vines that eventually embrace the entirety of this cask with little buds of kind of dark ruddy flowers. Something that would definitely appeal to a dwarven aesthetic.
That's hot.
You approach the guards, of which there are 8 currently at the front. They're
Can
running in
I
pairs.
see which one of them, use my perception to see which one of them looks maybe the most interested or weakest?
Give me more of an
Insight.
Roll
Which
insight.
one of them looks most interested in our party?
The weakest.
Oh, good. I thought that was a 1, but it's not.
11, probably?
It was a 13.
13, okay. Strangely enough, they are fairly distracted, and after a rather long, uneventful morning, most of them are just used to being in armor and waiting for any business to go down. There are a few along the edges that look a little more alert, and one of them is looking a little occasionally down into the quarry, just keeping an eye on the established area.
Which one looks like the newest?
The newest of the bunch would be the one that's on the far left that is looking down into the quarry as well. He has a shaved head, a small kind of brownish beard that looks like he's just starting to grow it out into a nice long tuft. Either it got shaved in some, I don't know, a terrible college dwarf accident. You know, some part of his entry to a fraternity.
Of course.
Sigma, Sigma.
Yeah, but it's you know, it's a fairly thick tuft of unkept brown beard that goes about that far out. It's just starting to be pulled into like a tiny little scruffy braid. It's not quite there, and he probably gets a lot of shit for it from the other dwarfs.
Right.
But he seems generally like looking at you guys.
I work your magic.
Yeah, do your thing.
No,
before we
no,
fuck
I
these
was just-
dwarves up.
I just
What are
wanted
we
to
trying
know-
to do?
Well,
Just-
we brought this gift.
Percy?
Hello, and we just kind of address all of them maybe right now. Yes.
She's better at this. I'm just going to let her do
Hello,
that.
hello, hi. Hello, hi.
Greetings and salutations.
The other kind of guards like reach back and grab their weapons, and the one kind of looking at you kind of.
Oh.
I look over at the shaved head one and I kind of hold his gaze for a little bit.
I give Vex a little push forward.
Pardon me, not yet.
All right, what's your business?
Oh, yes, well, we're here to speak with Nostock. We brought a gift for him that's quite remarkable, actually.
They kind of like curl up around the apparent barrel that Grog's holding. They look wary of Grog. Once they make note of the barrel, they all kind of. Oh,
right. There's this shit.
I've not seen you actually drink it. Well, there's been
Love Grog.
long-standing rumors of this even existing.
It exists.
And it's for Nostrock.
This live stream is live, Angus. Me commenting on this. This is Critical Role Episode 1, Campaign 1. This is from nearly 7 years ago. Actually, no, nearly 8 years ago. Well over 7 years ago. We are starting from the beginning. Hell yeah. I've never seen it. I've been DMing and playing for nearly a decade, about 10 years. And I have never watched a single episode, so we're starting from the very beginning, baby.
This is a Borges original.
Yes.
Signed by himself, I see, on the burn and blazing wood.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And he heads inside the building. The doors close behind.
I love that. I'm very interested, you know, having played a lot of D&D and watching this, it's very interesting because I've heard so much about Critical Role, you know, and I run into people all the time in real life that tell me I need to watch it, and I've always had it in the back of my head, and especially once Vox Machina came out. I didn't watch it because I was like, I gotta watch the actual play first. So I'm super excited to be watching it.
Behind the other guards kind of encroach, keeping a very keen eye, each one having a bead on the rest of your group. About 2 minutes pass before he comes back, and the door opens.
Nostock will see you briefly, but you best bring the gift. I think that's what's holding his interest.
Wonderful.
Inside, please.
And him and one other guard kind of flank you guys as you enter, making sure that you're not left without that appearance. As you're led into the center of this portion of the mine's main structure, series of long hallways. You can see there's just this general smell of soot and ash and broken stone dust in the air. A hint of brimstone-ish kind of a smell. It's not very pleasant. It's very well worn and pungent for those of you who are spend most of the time on the surface. As you
Hey, he did it. Fuck yeah, he did. He described a smell. I've been waiting because he did it at the very beginning, and I kept being like, "Where's the smell description?" Because I loved it, and he finally did it again. Let's go.
enter, there is kind of a general dust in the air. A little bit of light seems to peek through from the torch sconces that are placed along the wall. You can see kind of this general haze amongst the interior here. It's definitely a work environment at the base of an underground dwarven establishment used to mine.
Sure.
You're led further down the hallway. It curves to the left, and you're brought into a large dwarven study. You can see with books lining the walls. There are a series of ledgers and paper stacks on a large desk. And in the
Let's
center
see
there
Tiberius.
sits a dwarf with fiery red hair, cut
His
very short,
eyes.
almost in a buzz cut on top, with a long beard that is not braided, but just kept very smooth and very not curly, not bunched. It's a very straight beard. He's very clean cut.
Very Merlin
he already
beard,
has this
yeah.
kind of intimidating dark glare to him, and as you walk into the room, he goes,
Okay, you brought me a drink. You have my attention. What brings you to the mines?
Straight up.
Brings
We should have thought.
Well, several things actually. Several things bring us to the mind. My name, of course, is Percival Frederick Stein von Musil Kowalski, the Brother III.
You can call him Percy.
I love that. I feel like that must be a thing from before, but I love the moment that they started describing all the dusty books. I could see fucking Tiberius's eyes light up. He's like, "Oh, a study, artifacts. Oh."
You have not paid for your pleasantries yet.
Oh, of course. Grog, if you would.
Tap that motherfucker.
You,
All right.
okay.
Assumingly, they gave them a tap.
I'm assuming you have a goblet on the table.
As you pull it up, he pulls under his desk and pulls up a goblet.
Okay.
Yeah,
immediately.
easy.
Fill it.
It's a dwarf.
Thank you. Put it beside the desk.
Wait, Mr. Greyspine. Oh,
No.
all right.
All right.
Is it as amazing as we've heard?
It takes a long drag.
Wait, I like this guy so far.
I'm making sure you all watch him do this. Like, this goes on probably a little longer. The pageantry of him drinking this in front of you is like
Okay, maybe I don't like him.
some sort of kind of unspoken dominance in the room.
I really do like this characterization. He's not talking. He's not lore dumping. He's not being an aggressive asshole. Like they came in and he was very direct, but Matt is still able to categorize him as a dick and to let the players know what kind of person this is by the fact that he takes this huge pageantress drink and he makes them all watch. Like, that is a great way to characterize someone without just outright saying, "Oh, they're an asshole," right?
Eventually finishes his tankard, sets it down under the desk again.
Right. So, where were we?
We were here to call upon your expertise. We imagine that we are not the first strangers to Craghammer to come through
In the last few weeks.
in the last few weeks. We believe one of our compatriots had some dealings with you, perhaps not as pleasant as the dealings we were hoping to have.
A lady, in fact.
A halfling.
At which point, as you say that, he kind of gets this grin to his face and goes, I know the one we speak.
Yes.
She's a strong-headed one, that one.
Yes.
She's stepped on a few toes around this place.
Oh, is she clumsy?
Dude, I love that. I was just watching another DM posted something about how to play low int characters, how to play, essentially dumber characters. And one of the main ways to play a, thicker person is literal misunderstandings. Misunderstanding phrases, also just straight up misunderstanding words. So the example that they used was tomb versus tome. So it's like, oh, we're going to go hunt some skeletons in an ancient tomb. And the, dumb character goes, oh, why are we looking for skeletons in books? And it's like, no, not a tome, a tomb where, they have like a bunch of dead people in it, that sort of thing. Guys, I think there are dead people inside of books sometimes. And so that's that sort of either literal misunderstanding of metaphor or just swapping similar words that, a more intelligent person might not do. That's a great way to engagingly and funnily play a dumb character. That's not just her,
We're here to mend any broken bridges, so to speak.
Or broken toes. If you will.
She said,
And it allows other characters to bounce off.
it's a strange vision quest she kept talking about brought her into atmospheres, portions of this city, portions of my business that she has no right trespassing on. She went against clever rules. She broke away from partial arrest.
Okay.
She went screaming down into the caverns of our mind without my permission, blades drawn on some crazed suicide mission.
You know what? We'll go after her. We'll bring her out. We'll get her out of your minds.
Great. I'd like that, actually.
Good.
And we'd be happy to clear out anything unpleasant that we happen to find in there in the meantime.
How does she look?
What?
Small and angry. No, she seemed to have some weight to her. She was
So not a looker is what you're saying.
She gives you the strange look and goes, I will not discuss the physical.
You're a feminist.
How much would this task be worth to you? Obviously, we're doing you quite a favor, and we brought you quite a gift.
Well, he's also allowing you into the
This cost
mines,
us 1,000 gold.
which clearly you don't want to be in, right? Like, he doesn't want this person in there, but he's allowing a group of 8 of you to go in. I don't know. Seems like, you're getting what you want, he's getting what he wants.
And obviously, this last one's up to you, hasn't she?
No, but I know she's probably wreaking havoc on your mind.
We've come to correct the wrongs that she's done, and we've come to bring her home.
It also sounds like there are some other terrible things wreaking havocs on your mind.
There's nothing going on. We're fine. We've got everything under control. We don't need your help for that. Do you want to find your friend? Go find her.
Well,
She's
that's
still alive.
It's
not take her corpse back. And
It's not help, sir. It's simply respecting you as a businessman. And as a businessman, I'm sure that you would disagree with unceremonious charity, whether it would be to give it or receive it. We're making sure that our dealings with you are fair and balanced.
I appreciate your offering. You've bought your time. Now, if you're here to go find your friend, I'll let you pass. You may pass another mine, but if at any moment you cross over to any sort of thieving bullshit that's over you, I recommend. I recommend that you fall down the same path your friend like we did and get killed real quick. I don't take kindness across on my business.
I doubt we could find anything of more value than what we've already brought you.
We're here to right wrongs.
That's sort of almost insulting to what to what could be in the mines. All right, I have to pee really quick. Bio break, everybody. Go fill up your canteens, your drink of choice, your snacks of choice. Get a blanket, stretch your legs, and I will be right back. All right, we're back, everybody. I had to take off the comfy sweater because I was getting hot. because it's getting hot, because the gang is about to go into their first dungeon. I mean, not their first dungeon as a party, but our first dungeon as an audience, because this is still the first episode. Now, I'm a little nervous, because it looks like they have about 40 minutes left, and no dungeon I've ever run or watched has ever taken less than 3 hours. So I would assume that there's probably going to be a lot of narrative, and then we're going to get to see the dungeon next time. We'll see.
We promise you, our business is finding her and returning home.
Percy, stop trying to extract gold from this situation. You brought him a bribe just to exist down here, right? You're not extracting more out of this deal.
Yeah, we're here to right wrongs and right lefts.
Acting works.
Oh, again, the great playing of the dumb character. Right wrongs, right lefts. Spot on.
Right comment, Carl.
Wait, before we like dive into this mountain, I mean, we know there's like ghouls and God knows what else out there. Shouldn't we find out?
Yes, we should. Maybe some arcane house could tell us how to
Yes,
deal
yes,
with
yes,
these
yes,
things.
yes, yes, yes. Do we have permission to enter it within the next few days? Obviously, we might need to be prepared.
Yes, do we have like badges? Like we wear them over so they know. Wait, no.
I'll let you down. And if you come back, good on you. I think our business here is done.
Yeah, very good.
At which point, you hear muffled in the distance a loud ringing of a very loud bell. Ding, 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 ding. At which point, it kind of perks up a bit.
Our business here is done. Please, shove off.
Which way do we go?
Shuffle.
He looks over at the two other guards that are out front.
And again, I'm not sure. I talked about this earlier, about him consistently using the term business in not only areas where it just generally makes sense, like when he's talking about actual business, but when the guards, when the carvers came up and were talking to Tiberius, Matt said, like, state your name and your business. Very business oriented. Everyone concludes their discussions with our business here is done. Those little things, those tiny, small anachronisms can go so far for building a sense of what is important to a society. When you have a certain concept built into your greetings and goodbyes, that concept is clearly so important to you. It is fundamental to your society. And him including all of those really tells the players a lot without having to explicitly say it to them.
The two carvers come this way.
While he's talking, I take a flask out of my cloak and approach the barrel and surreptitiously pour a little bit into the...
Oh, Jesus, you're stealing beer?
No, because we have
While
to
he's
get those
doing that,
guards.
I try to distract him.
Those guards. I can kill them all.
Can I talk to
Roll.
good old Nostock while he's doing that?
Roll.
He currently does not seem of the talkative type at the moment. You can certainly.
I'm going to make a fumble. I'm going to attempt to assist the sleight of hand with a bit of a fumble.
He's already rolled it.
Damn it. I'm gonna fall down in front of Nostock.
Oh!
13.
I'm gonna fall down
No
in front
chance.
of Nostock.
Come on.
For what?
He is distracted by a bell.
As you fill your flask,
Oh.
you hear this loud.
Ow! Ow! Oh, my ankle! Oh! It hurts so very much.
This is the first time you've witnessed the pristine, delicate, yet well-trained palm of a dwarven hand go straight to its forehead.
I carry the flask over to his cup and refill it and say, in my kingdom, when a deal is set, we drink together. And I would like, not much, but just to pour us all a drink and agree on this. Now surely this cask is weeks worth of drink.
Get
He tried.
I can see that it's a cultural difference. My apologies.
Stop it! Just
He tried.
You're one to talk.
I'm on the earring.
At which point, a second and a third bell start going off, and the guards that are waiting for you guys are like, they start leading you outside, and as you make your way outside of the main building, you can now hear
like
voices
last
shouting down in the quarry below.
I lean down to one of the guards with us and say, "What is that bell for?"
Something's flushing out of the quarry.
Ooh, a poop.
Combat.
At which point, some of the guards are kind of motioning each other to follow, and some of them start going down one of the tracks that leads down into the nearest quarry below.
Let's go in
Is
there.
it
I'm gonna just try and
Go down.
practically usher our guards in that direction since they seem like they want to go that direction.
When
Let's
are,
just see if we can push them in that direction.
Are the other
Let's go with them,
workers?
yeah.
Okay, you guys follow down towards the quarry. You ask the guard that question. He goes, "I don't know. We've had quite a few interesting things come through these past 3 weeks."
Like what?
You already said.
And he kind of like swallows seconds.
Things I can't describe.
Well, we can certainly help. Lead on.
Things.
Crawly.
Lead
Is
on,
there
sir.
anybody running out?
Not yet. As you head halfway down,
I mean, if they're flushing it
the
out, they'd be
walkway,
behind
you begin
it.
seeing dwarves start running out of one of the
Oh,
large
never
quarry
mind.
tunnels.
I grab
Three.
one of them.
Well, they're quite a distance from you. You're still walking down the side. They're
Oh.
rushing out. They're about good 100 feet from you. They start running out. You can see blood streaking down one of their faces.
Yes.
They're charging out. One of them has a weapon, is like limping, and you start seeing small green scampering things rushing through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10 goblins come rushing out of the tunnel.
I don't
We should
like these guys.
attack them. I string my bow.
That's right. Don't you
Yep.
have like family
All right,
histories?
the three
Family
dwarves are running out.
history.
One of them gets
Oh, yeah.
hacked down by one of the goblins that jump onto him and start tearing
Take a
his
shot
neck.
right
I
now.
take a shot. I shoot it.
Okay, both of you guys roll
Yeah.
Throw
to
a
attack
dagger.
on this one. You throw a dagger.
Yep.
3 of you roll for attack.
I'm gonna.
No
19.
initiative.
Uh,
It's interesting. So last time they kind of got into combat, I had a whole diatribe about how I don't think that initiative is always necessary, even if you're using, AC and attack rolls and what have you. But I do think that initiative is, and I think that initiative is not necessary when you're doing a more narrative combat, where the challenge of the combat is not, are we going to defeat this? If there's a situation where you're in a combat where it's clear and obvious you're going to defeat it, and the purpose of the combat is narrative, I don't think you need initiative. People can do what they want in whatever order they want. This, at least the initial vibe that I'm getting, is that this is not a narrative combat. I'm assuming that something big is going to come out, and they are going to need to pit their collective strength against it. So this is something where I feel like initiative should be necessary. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a more narrative focus, or maybe they just don't use initiative at all, which would be a choice.
15.
Is there a clear area where there's just a bunch of goblins running?
There is an open, almost like a funnel towards the tunnel.
I'm gonna throw a little fireball right there.
Okay.
Where those guys are.
So you guys, you all hit from this distance because the goblins are puny little things. They're still a little small to see, but you're all pretty well trained and pretty honed at your aim. You fire simultaneously, gunshot echoes through the hallway. Arrow goes flying dagger. You see three goblins just fall off the nearby dwarf. He goes, thank you. At which point a large fireball explodes.
Did they even roll for? Did they roll for damage?
Killing off about 10 or so of the goblins and probably 2 of the dwarves.
I'm sorry about that.
At which point the guards kind of stop.
Did you do that?
Yeah. And they start going down. They see you pulling out your weapons, and they all kind of take a step back and realize that they don't want to die either. Just
Nah.
well, go if you're gonna help. Go.
Running straight in.
Okay, as you guys go charging in, you can now see a handful of more goblins are rushing out. They're like running really fast, sprinting.
I throw in Tangle Up.
Okay. And Tangle.
So this is almost more superhero-esque, very, very City of Mist, the way that they're playing it, where combat's very fluid. It's certainly interesting. I think it works for this dynamic situation, but it also does lead to unintended player actions, like Tiberius right there. If we had been doing it with initiative, it would be harder for Tiberius to accidentally kill 2 of the dwarves. Which is fine, but it's also like 2 of the people in this haven't even gotten to go, which is a function of there being so goddamn many of them. But, not rolling with initiative, not rolling attacks, all of that can be, it can lead to some fun narrative moments. Combat goes lightning quick, obviously. But you do you lose a little bit of investment, at least for me personally. It feels more like watching a movie than experiencing something. I find it harder to invest. But, we'll see. Initiative is slow and boring. Maybe I'll come around to it.
Like in the distance, wherever they're coming from.
Okay, what's the radius in that?
Like 100 feet.
That's a range. What's the radius?
Oh, 20-foot radius.
20-foot radius? Okay. So you find a portion of that, of the central point where things exit from the tunnel, and you see these strange kind of reddish vines begin to protrude and begin to grab nearby goblins as they're pulled up into this mass of weird vine creatures. At which point you hear, you now see two larger ogre-like creatures come storming out.
Oh,
oh,
wonderful!
Everyone
Hey,
roll
good!
There's initiative. So, until Matt calls for initiative, they're just kind of doing things. They're lobbing shots. Who cares? And then he rolls initiative once actual combat starts. I'm down with it. That's what I assumed was happening when I talked about the slight combat they had in the bar earlier. But I'm glad. I'm glad that this is the way he's going with it. Because tossing out initiative entirely.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Oh, yeah!
Take it.
All right. Do we have initiatives 25 to 20?
27.
Oh, I have
21.
To roll. Wait.
Holy
I didn't roll
shit.
it. Come on. I don't know where
You
my
rolled a
thing is.
20?
I rolled a 20 plus 7.
Fuck.
Okay, 21 you said?
I have 21.
21 for Tiberius. What do you get? 1.
Where's my
Oh, I rolled a 2.
It's 6.
4-1.
Fellows,
Okay.
I don't like goblins.
18.
Yeah, you now see Scanlan, who's usually a jovial individual.
What do you know?
That's actually an intensely interesting thing that he just did. I wonder, I've never heard of this initiative style, but I'm just assuming based on what I just saw. He asked, did anyone get initiatives 25 through 20? It's an interesting discussion of what if you stratify ranges of initiative. So, every creature that gets, between these initiatives goes at the same time or goes interchangeably. That's a very. I mean, it's hard with competing monsters. Maybe they go in between player ranges. If they're in the same range. I don't know. That's an initiative. That's an interesting initiative thought of ways to group it and make it a little bit more dynamic. That's very interesting.
I don't like goblins.
Is there anything that you know?
No.
Did we see his
They'll
backstory?
all die.
Did you see his
Don't
backstory?
spare any of them.
Copy that.
All right. So
18.
Right.
18. All right. So we have 20.
18 too.
All right. So we have
27.
Yeah, buddy.
I have 27 initiative.
15 to 10. 10 to 5. 6.
Wow. Oh my god.
I got a 3.
Wait.
All
See,
right.
you didn't do.
4.
He's just asking to get responses from all 7 players. That makes sense. I was a little hopeful. It kind of got my gears turning. I don't know. Because that's sort of somewhere between, not Greyhawk. I can't remember the initiative name where people have static initiatives and essentially the initiative order changes every turn, which allows for very dynamic play, but also takes so much time. And you could make having these initiative ranges, kind of these almost stratas. So, if you get within this 5 strata, all of those players can go interchangeably. They can work together. But I don't know how you would work that in with the opposite side. Maybe you just alternate stratas. So it's the, 25 to 20 player strata, then the 25 to 20 monster strata, and back and forth all the way down. Maybe it makes it a little more complicated to track, but it does make it more interesting. I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
4. Okay, so we have
sudden attack,
Max.
We weren't ready.
You got
I
3.
have. To be fair, I just cast Entangle. It kind of works. I'm
it's fine, it's
distracted
fine.
holding Entangle.
All right. Let me have
Concentrating, yeah.
All right, so build us a Max in placement here. As
It's a map.
Is currently back at the inn.
It's an aerial view.
Unless you wanted to bring him along.
I thought we brought him
I
along.
should have
All right,
mentioned
we'll
that.
save our lunch.
Okay.
That's fine.
Who's carrying?
We don't
yeah,
need
yes,
Sorry,
you were
I
carrying.
shouldn't.
But
I
do
should
keep
emphasize
in
that.
mind.
Okay.
That's all right. So, those of you who are going first, we're going to keep you on the field here.
Okay.
Oh God.
A number of goblins that are currently held
Oh my God.
over here.
1, 2,
They're
3,
easy.
4, 5,
Goblins
6,
are
7,
easy.
8, 9, 10.
I will say, this sort of, and this is, I think, a slightly controversial opinion that I think me and Matt share. Hexless or gridless maps are based. If people are worried or concerned about range, they can always ask. But the size of the miniatures just naturally provides a good reference, as long as you draw the map with the size of the miniatures in mind. But if you do, the miniatures themselves can give players a good sense of distance without needing the preciseness of the grid and the limitations therein. Having this nice, fluid, totally gridless system can lead to much smoother combat. People aren't counting out individual squares. It's just, oh, if I moved here, how far can I move? Would I be close enough? Yes, yes. Boom. You're done. Now, it does mean that, people can't quite plan as much during their turn, which is a weakness. But I think that once you run it enough, for reference, I ran my entire first campaign totally gridless. And I think once you run it enough, the players start to get enough of a sense of the scale that they start to almost be able to fill in the blanks on their own. And then as the DM, you just kind of be permissive, right? If they're close enough, fuck it, let them throw the fireball. You're in range. Congratulations. So I'm way down with this, where it's not quite as loose as Theater of the Mind combat, where it can be a struggle for the players to even imagine what's going on, but it's not as rigid as gridded combat, where you are bogged down in the details. I think this is a great middle ground, personally.
Ogres or?
Alrighty. So, top of the round, Percy, you're up.
I'm sitting down and I'm busting out bad news.
Buzz out bad news.
Okay. Percy stops kind of just as he gets to the quarry, a little bit elevated, and he pulls out from the small sack on his back this large elongated contraption, this weird construction that looks similar to the pepper box he usually carries, but much larger and cumbersome. He sets it up on the ground with a small stand at the front and preps itself as a visual point.
Ogre.
Ogre back here?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and roll for your attack with the bad news.
Have you
The bad news.
Nope, first time.
Crack it
His
out.
own tinkered construction, bad news.
That's a 20-30 attack. Yep.
That'll do it. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
Is that critical for you?
19 actually, Mike.
Natural 19?
Yeah. Natural 19.
Yeah, that's your critical.
That does.
On a fighter because of improved crit? Fuck yeah.
That's awesome. I've never critical with this either. What does that mean?
That means the damage dice you double. So roll for damage, double that, and then add your modifier after that.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Big money, no
Or
whammies,
roll
yeah.
twice as many dice.
Hell yeah.
Either one.
11, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 points of damage.
Get after
Double.
it,
And then that's double?
I mean, I guess at level 9,
that's
but
double.
still.
All right. So you guys see this cacophonous, this large blasting sound, and a flash of kind of blue energy and sparks shoot out the back of the weapon. It actually lifts Percy off the ground for a second and he catches himself in the sheer
Fuck
blast.
yeah. I love that I totally relate with this, where Matt's like, he's in it now. He has to get up. He cannot be contained. He cannot be describing the bad news sitting down. That would be ridiculous. He has to get up. He has to emote. He has to move around. I vibe with that energy.
This streaking,
Build a sniper
heated
rifle.
bullet, almost like reddish white hot, goes cascading through the air, plunges into the side of the ogre's shoulder with a smattering of blood splattering against the cave behind it. It's actually moved back a step and has to catch itself. Slams his club into the ground. That ends your turn?
I can't do anything after that. It's just
Furious, you're up.
Wait, does that suck multiple of his attacks? He's a fighter, right? He should have multi-attack at least one, right? So you get multi-attack. You get the first multi-attack at 5 and the second multi-attack, I guess maybe at 10, and they're 9. But he should have at least another attack.
I move within 60 feet of those.
Does the bad news take multiple?
And this is...
Oh, shit.
This is the entanglement, by the way.
Okay.
Honestly, I should know this. I actually had a player in one of my campaigns play Matt Mercer's Gunslinger. And I do not remember to save my life because he just used 2 revolvers. He did not use the bad news.
He's over here.
Right before there.
Yeah. So everything there is kind of fighting from the entanglement.
Great.
Most of these goblins are currently in next.
At least you'll never have
I'm gonna
to
shoot a
know.
scorching ray at the big guys.
Same with both
He
of
said
them?
he moved within 60 feet of them.
So you moved up to here? Alrighty.
And they're all entangled, yeah?
That's good right there.
That'll work.
That's
They're
good
all
right there.
entangled
These
up.
guys here are entangled. These front goblins are not. Scorching Ray, you said at which one?
Actually, there's a bunch of those dudes, aren't there? I'm gonna do I'll do a fireball instead. Right,
Okay.
right in the center of the juiciness, where I can get a couple of little guys and both of the big guys.
Alright, so I'd say
The
probably around
juiciness.
there would be where you'd want it.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna spend 2 sorcerer points immediately to do quickening spell, and do another spell right after that.
Okay. So as you rush up, you pull back your hand and you see the arcane red energy begin to flow within your palm. You then throw the beam out that kind of arcs, slams in the center, and explodes, hitting each of these 5 goblins and the 2 ogres. What's your DC on your spell?
My DC on my spell is
Top of your spell page, on the right.
17. Sorry.
17, okay.
Okay.
The 2 ogres actually make their saving throws.
Oh, boo.
Look.
18 and 18.
Roll crappier, ogres.
The goblins, however, all disintegrate. Like, there's no way they're gonna survive the damage you. No, yeah, they just. You see this like kind of hint of a red ash mist go where they once were, and they're all turned to black nothingness.
Look, I don't think that Matt is doing this because he did just look as if he actually checked the goblin's HP. But I love, for those of you who don't know, there's a rule from previous D&D editions that was scrapped in 5e. So it is not in 5e. I think the last edition it was in 3.5. But it's called the minion rule. And the minion rule is so sick for DMs, where it essentially, there's a couple of rules for it. I always have to look it up before I use it. But you essentially reduce a monster's HP to 1. And if they ever take like AoE damage, if they have to make a saving throw or else they like take half damage, instead of taking half damage, they just take no damage. And if they lose, they just, immediately die. And then you lower their CR a lot, but they keep the same like attacks. So they do as much damage as they did before. And they are just as likely to hit. They're just so much weaker. They're all tiny little glass cannons. And they're worth less HP, but they're still very dangerous. And they're called minions. And so you can add in a bunch of minions around a couple of stronger monsters, sort of like Matt seems to be doing here, where there are 2 ogres and then several goblins all around them. And then if you, put them down to 1 HP, you only use average damage, you can so much more easily manage all of them on the field when you just know, okay, they all, if they get hit once, boom, they're done. It keeps the pace of combat so cleanly. And you can even take it one step further where you assign minions to certain masters. And so if you have like 2 ogres, you can say, okay, these 4 goblins go on this ogre's turn, or maybe right after, and these 4 goblins go with this ogre. So there's a couple of options that you have with the minion rule, but it is goated. I love the minion rule. I use it constantly in my games, because it is such a great way to get a ton of combatants on the field and make the players feel so cool. Especially things that have multi-attack, like Fighter, where traditionally, or not traditionally, I should say, But a lot of times you get a fighter that just uses all 4 of their multi-attack swings on the same creature and just, does more and more damage. They're going doom, 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 which feels fine, but it doesn't quite feel the same as maybe a, one big wizard spell that does a fuck ton of damage, right? Or one big rogue stab that does a ton of sneak attack dice damage. And so giving a ton of these minions for the fighter to go whoop-bah, 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 or the wizard to get a big fireball on, like it just feels so good. So DMs, if you haven't heard of the minion rule, I highly recommend you looking it up and using it in your games.
However, roll damage for the ogres. They get half damage because they made the reflex save. So 8d6 damage.
8d6.
That,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
What?
27, alright, so half that.
As much as the bad news. On a crit. Woof, is the bad news weak? Because that was just a normal fireball. I mean, I guess it was probably a higher level spell slot. But the bad news on a crit did less damage than that. I don't know.
Okay, so as the blast of fire dissipates, you can see one of the ogres is now burnt on half of his chest. He's looking a little rough. There's blood streaking down from the side of his face. One of the pieces of shrapnel that got thrown at him.
And
the other ogre's still looking okay.
He's a large creature, isn't he?
Yes.
I'm going to use my second spell and do telekinesis and pick one up and try to hurl him into the other one.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right.
Left here.
The one that's beaten up already.
Oh, it's
I'm
beaten
hard
okay.
right now.
He does fail his saving throw. So, lift him up
That's
in the
just
air.
your flute.
Yes.
We'll send him into that. Alright.
Strangely impressive. That's my clue.
That ogre is knocked prone by the impact.
Bom, bom, bom.
Into the wall, both of them slam to the ground.
And my vines, I make sure my vines really grapple him.
I turn to Grog. They're all yours, buddy.
Go ahead and roll 2d6 impact damage.
How fast is Grog? I don't think Grog can get to them. Which, that was a very cool use of a spell. Love that. Love creative use of telekinesis. But I think Grog is too far away to actually make use of that. And if they're prone, they are harder to hit from range. So we better hope that Grog is fucking fast.
Sweet. 10.
10 damage to each time?
Yeah.
Alright. Both ogres now on the ground. Kind of reeling from the impact. That brings us to Grog and Vex going simultaneously.
Yes! Ladies first.
Oh, well, alright. I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on the most damaged one.
Okay, that'd be this one here.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then I'm going to shoot lightning arrow.
Okay, do you want to move a little closer?
Boom,
Yes,
boom,
I
boom,
do.
boom, boom.
Alright.
Lightning arrow, lightning arrow, lightning arrow. Yeah, how is Grog gonna get to them?
I'm going to shoot
We'll see.
lightning arrow at them.
Okay, so you pull out your arrow.
Yeah,
as you
they're
pull
both
it back, a little bit of energy courses through your fingers, strikes through the arrow. You can now see this crackling energy as you're pulling it taut in your bow.
Alright.
You let it loose. Go ahead and roll for attack.
Okay.
I love that Matt got up for this. I'm getting up for this. I feel the energy.
21 hits.
Yes.
Alright.
Fuck, my
And then
desk is
I do
unplugged. One sec.
Something else. 1d8. Right?
Yep, you do the damage of the arrow plus the damage of the spell.
Holy moly. So that's this. 13 for the arrow. And then 4d8
Alright, I got a desk
for the
big and
spell.
raise.
8.
We ascend!
4, 12. Plus 3, 15.
Oh, fuck.
17.
17. Okay. The ogre that's been beaten and blasted.
Oh shit! I unplugged something. Oh no! Ah! Oh god! Everything's falling apart! I tried to get up with Matt! Matt, why did you do this to me? Son of a bitch. It wasn't Matt, but my own hubris. We will continue watching while I fix things.
Like fireball, it's getting up. It grabs its club and begins to get up on one leg. As the lightning arrow slams into its chest, you can see it hits, looks down for a second, and then the charge pulses through its entire torso as it does. It screams out into the cavern. Its whole muscle system locks tight, and it falls forward again, onto
There we
its
go.
chest, smoke rising off
We're
its
back.
whole upper area, unmoving on the ground.
Come on now.
And then
one
the other
down?
one
Yeah. Fucked him up.
takes 2d8 if he fails the saving throw.
I love.
With a 1, he does.
Yes!
The one.
Oh, he fails it so good.
So
We're
go ahead and
getting
roll
up.
damage for the other ogre.
10.
10 damage. Nice. So as he falls to the ground, the arcs over to the other one, who drops his club for a second, picks it up angrily.
Look, I feel Matt's energy. I had to get up.
You can.
Yes.
Yes. All right. That brings us to.
Oh, my hunter's mark! I didn't do my hunter's mark damage.
Sacre bleu.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
he's
matter.
dead.
You killed him.
Alright.
So you killed him. He
Is-
is so dead. Oh my god. The ogre is done. All right. So the other ogre's angry. It's now the goblin's turn.
Okay.
These goblins rush up. They are just
At those
dashing
goblins.
forward.
They are so dead.
Runs around,
So just like
and this one runs
It
around.
is.
It's
Oh,
like-
it's his
Okay.
turn.
Yeah, as I was going up, my light got caught on the HDMI cable and totally just fucked everything up. But we're back, and I've got standing energy. I agree with Matt. Whenever we're in combat, whenever it's exciting, I gotta stand.
Like, oh my god. Like one of those
No
power
attacks.
goblins.
Everyone make a insight check.
Insight check?
Yes.
Oh shit.
What happened?
Is that a 20?
What are we doing this?
Insight. Yeah.
I literally
Natural.
hit a 1.
Oh my god.
Natural 20.
Oh,
20 total. 20.
4.
20.
Natural 1. I'm
Alright.
really
Oh,
not
excuse
paying
me.
attention.
I don't
You're
have the
dealing with
pipes
fact
that
you just
Grog
fired your
has.
gun for the first time, and it kind of burned your hands a little. Like,
Grog.
Grog.
Recites poetry.
Grog is familiar with one thing: fear in the eyes of his enemies. Looking at these goblins, they're not charging to attack.
Oh.
The attacks seem to be instinctual. They are
They're running.
running.
Oh
They
no.
are scared.
Yes.
They are fleeing from something.
Oh shit.
From the ogres?
No.
No.
Something
Something
behind
bigger.
the ogres.
Oh no.
Love it. Love it.
May I make a request that you kill them anyway?
It's like playing croquet at this point.
Grog, it's your turn.
I would like to rage, and I would like to move to the right of all those stinking goblins.
Right over here.
Yeah, a little more to the right. Yeah, a little more. Yeah, keep going all the way. Yeah. And then I would like to give them the cleanest shave possible.
I'm loving. I'm loving Grog. I'm loving Travis.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. See, that's 26.
That definitively hits.
Word.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Beautiful.
Oh, damage, crap.
Decapitation.
2 plus 13.
No, it's not.
13. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So as you rush up, you bring your axe into the first goblin to your right. Clean. You don't even feel resistance. You hear this little sound as it's being bisected in the center.
Oh, that was cute.
Its head and upper torso is
Lighting
rolling
reel was still
off to the
fucked
side
up.
before rolling to a stop. However, the inertia of your axe still kings through to the one on the other side of you. Go ahead and roll for your second attack. On that.
21.
That also hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
4 plus 4 is 8 plus 7 is 15.
As you cleave through the first goblin, you swing around. Another goblin looks up at you scared and pulls a dagger out with its gnarled tongue. At which point the axe embeds itself straight into its face. Its angry face goes and just falls slack against your blade. You lift backward, it's stuck to the edge of your axe, limply dangling against. It's gonna shake it off a little bit.
Oh, double prizes, yeah.
Great. That ends your turn. You don't
Love
have
it.
anything in range, so you can use your bonus action for a third attack. If you want to use your fancy action, but you don't need to. That brings us now to the ogre's turn. The ogre gets up. See if it makes a saving throw. 14.
I wish I knew what subclasses some of these guys were. I know that Vex is a Beastmaster. Vax, I don't know what Vax is. He hasn't used any magic, so I'm guessing not Arcane Trickster. Don't know what sorcerer he is. Probably not Wild Magic, given that they haven't mentioned it. No idea what Barbarian they are. It's interesting. I wonder what they are.
However, the ogre
Assassin? That tracks. That's fair.
40 gets about that far. It's gonna make a double move.
I still have
Double
entangle up.
move.
He's running.
I still have entangle up.
I know.
He
managed
saved
to-
it.
Ah,
He was on the
I got what
other
you were
side.
saying.
The ogre's just gonna All right, the ogre takes his full turn to get up in the melee with you guys.
Berserker.
He does not have to attack
Interesting.
The ogre, you see, is lumbering forward.
Very flavorful. Not very good mechanically, but flavor's probably more important in a critical role type campaign.
Right in the face of the ogre, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm going to take a run towards my sister, and since she's right close to him, he's distracted. So I'm going to turn just as I get to her. So my back presses against hers and swing around and sneak attack. 2 daggers up into
We've
his belly.
practiced this. I
Alright, so as you dodge up
I like the description, hell yeah.
Shadow and speed, you just coast up the side of your sister. The daggers both plunge towards the side of the ogre. Go ahead and roll for an attack.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
1. And then with mine, it's a 1. And the other one, I do a poison dagger, gets a 20.
Oh, shit!
Bing, 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 bing.
That is dagger of venom, 1d.
Oh my god, wait, so
3.
that's I'm sure that there's additional poison damage, there's all of his sneak attack damage, and there's the extra crit damage from Assassin, right? I mean, if he does not one hit this, I don't know what's going on.
Plus 2 is 5. Now does the sneak attack damage go?
Yeah, it does, because you have another ally adjacent to it. You don't get advantage in the attack roll, but you can still do the sneak attack.
Critical hit too as well,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, you can multiply the sneak attack
So
damage.
5
Fuck yeah, he
plus-
does.
The double goes to the sneak attack.
It does. The modifiers don't double, but any dice you roll double.
Hell yeah.
Like
15, so 30 plus 5, 35.
35
plus poison.
You're a little.
The poison's not going to factor in.
Okay.
You swing
Exactly.
right into the side of its ribcage.
That's what I'm
You hear it
saying.
howl out in pain. As it does, you twist the daggers in a way where both blades are now. Going
Dude, Assassin is the Assassin didn't even come in this circumstance because, you know, it's mostly about that first turn. But Assassin, I personally feel, is kind of a criminally underrated martial. Like, they have a thing that they can do, and they do it so well. And that just kind of takes care of combat for them. Like, if you're an assassin, you know that your job is to get the drop on someone. You are starting combat, and then you're fucking auto-critting. You're getting all that sneak attack damage, and then you're just taking a combatant out of the fight. That is your job as an assassin. It is to get the numbers advantage. And now you're just an extra body that does okay damage, but you have done your role, and you've done it fucking well.
directions. And you carve out a section of its entire abdomen.
Oh.
As you do, the flesh, almost like whale blubber, just slops off the side of it. Organs spill out intestines, and it kind of looks down and tries to pull them back in.
Okay, I'm gathering that this is also part of the Matt Mercer effect, is the really big descriptions of death scenes. That's one of the things that I've heard about, is like, oh, you know, people watch Critical Role and then they feel like they need to describe every death. Which I think that describing deaths is fucking cool. Like, I got nothing against that, but I've been trying to piece together, like, what is the Matt Mercer effect? Because you hear it mentioned in so many online circles related to D&D, but I've never seen it firsthand. So I'm really excited to keep piecing it together.
At which point you can see, like the color draining from its face. You just kind of lean up and kick it down. The ogre falls to the ground. Lifeless, destroyed.
Give him just enough time to regret everything that had ever happened.
Yes.
Well done. All right, add life choices.
That brings us to
I never called
Keelan.
mom enough.
Oh, and there's these. Are
Should've
there 2
called
goblins
There
left?
are 2 goblins left.
Okay, Keyleth, run. I do a quick kind of sprint jog up, kind of towards Grog, and go, poof, and bring up a big stone wall, right where that entrance is.
Right here.
No, like where things
right
are
here?
pouring out. Yeah.
All right, wall of stone.
Wall of stone. Boom.
Wall of stone.
Alright.
Wall of stone.
A giant wall of stone now completely seals off the front of the
Stop.
line.
We don't know what's
Easy
in there. We
peasy.
should talk about this for a second, and I bought us some time. I'm sure it's gonna try and beat through that door in a second.
That's fair enough.
You move up through there with your
Especially if Scanlan is going to insist on killing all the goblins. Buy us some time, you know? Let us finish off whatever's going on out here, and then we can deal with that.
I'd say probably over here, not right next to the goblin. That'll give you enough range. Okay. So the wall
Are there any guards around still? Any dwarven guards?
They're all just kind of watching you do this now.
Okay,
In this weird moment where like they don't want to put their lives at risk.
The fucking bystander effect.
They're just gonna sit back and let you.
I throw up my wall and I turn around and I say, "What's coming? Tell us you know what's coming. What's coming?"
Make an intimidation check.
Feel it. You're
I'm
so
not good at
hardcore.
this.
Goblin?
Oh, 4.
Oh no.
Make a pity roll.
A very gentle attempt at intimidation. However, the guards kind of look at you. Kind of
I
taken
say
off guard.
we're about to die. It is in your best interest to tell us.
No, they're like, we don't know. It's been different things, strange abominations. It's hard to describe. They're put together. Something's making things down there.
Something's.
It's
What
the
kind of
Underdark is
things?
open.
From
I mean,
where?
kind
They
of
all
just
kind
said
of
it.
Are talking. You hear a against the stone. Let's see how
Sitting down.
Let's do it.
The stone cracks. You can see a noticeable crack and an audible.
I'm running right now diagonally
I
towards
cast-
the side of the wall.
Look, I know that from what I understand, Marisha has a bit of a negative reputation within the first season, but so far she's trying to do fun shit. Like the Wall of Stone, mechanically, does it do all that much? Not really, but it's fun and it allows Matt. It gives the DM fodder to do cool shit like he's about to do of cracking through this big stone wall. Like, that sort of fun shit, even if you're wasting resources, especially since they have short rests being 10 minutes, fucking waste as many resources as you want to just do cool, fun shit, you know?
Stone skin on my.
Oh, good call.
Okay.
I do the same thing on the other side.
Okay, so you come over here. You want me to trinket with you?
Yeah.
Alright,
You're
trinket
all
is
so
beside you.
fancy.
I cast stone skin on myself.
Okay, so we got stone
And we're
skin on two
stealthing. We're
casters.
stealthing. I'm stealthing.
Roll
if I
stealth,
can.
both of you.
How tall are the walls? I mean, the ceiling.
Oh, the ceiling right now is the rest of Craghammer for the most part. You're looking
Hundreds.
at yeah, it is huge ceiling.
What's in the middle? Are those?
I get within casting range.
These are bracers.
That's fine
here.
right there.
Yeah.
By the way, stone skin goes. This disappears.
Turn-based.
Your
The entanglement.
entanglement's gone.
Oh.
But these are some mine carts, some random rocks. There's a smash cart over here from the ogre barreled through. This is just a piece of stone that's raises about 15 feet. And these are both braziers for light in the center of the area. So, but yeah, it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet up. Like you can look.
I will say something that I've seen that I have not done, but that I think can be good for hexless or gridless combat is on your terrain and on your obstacles, just putting a small notation of how tall they are. So like on that, on those walls, just, I don't know, saying like fucking tall or 200, 300 feet, whatever. Make up a number. And then for the littler ones, 5 foot. That way, someone knows it's like a half obstruction. The bigger boulder's 15 feet high, so they know that they can get full cover behind it. Or if you want that boulder to be kind of a low but very wide obstruction, you can put like, this big wide thing, but then throw a 5 feet on there, and it's a totally different situation. So I think that noting the heights on a non-isometric map like this can be very, very helpful for giving players a good sense of the terrain.
Look up to the very top of Craghammer from here.
Okay. Wow. That's fine.
So what you got?
What you got?
Well, let's see. So Keyleth, that's your turn, Stone Skin. And you move up. Anywhere else you want to go? I mean, right now we're technically not in combat. So
Right, we're out of combat. Yeah, we're out of combat.
Just
Briefly.
Yeah, we're homecoming dance to start.
Breathing deep,
like
taking
casting
aim at the
this.
wall, resetting everything.
okay.
let me
Staying
move.
where you
Can
are,
I
or
move
back
up behind that pillar?
You move behind the pillar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm staying far back at the moment.
So back here.
Yeah.
Having to go through each of these 7
These
characters,
goblins all just
seeing what
stand
all
just
they
taking
want to
them down.
do.
I think it's not even a question. They just you step on them and crush them.
Are there any dwarves that we can say to go get Ballsack and bring him down to a fight?
Oh, yeah.
You can.
Ballsack would be great for this fight.
You still like get Bogus, and they're like grab
Bulgus.
Ballsack. Some of them have crossbows set up, by the way. You can see some of them now are like barreling down to get ready to fire whatever is going to come through.
Good.
Another crack of the wall. You see the dust settle as the stone cracks again. A large piece at the top tumbles off. The stone wall's probably not going to hold another impact. Anyone else want to move anywhere?
Just taking aim.
I'll move up to the right near where Grog is, and can I? No one's taken any damage yet, right?
No.
Not currently. No, you guys have been a pretty clean sweep into this battle so far.
I can't inspire anybody here now.
You can inspire everyone. Just give me a dice.
Yeah.
Can I inspire everyone?
You can spend all your uses to inspire as many people as you have the uses of it. So.
I still have mine, but I haven't used yet.
I don't think that's how.
Vex and Vax.
I don't think that's how Inspire works. It's a bonus action for one.
I think you're really handsome and nice. You're going to have inspiration dice.
I thought you were gonna have a little.
I know, some beautiful song for us.
Working on it. All right,
Wait,
so,
one,
so
for
you got,
all of us, we all get
each of you has to have a single D8 dice. It's an inspiration dice that kind of, the bardic inspiration has flown through you that you can use to add to it.
I totally agree, Angus. I think when people use resources to do interesting things, you don't necessarily need to give them crazy rewards. But giving them any amount of small reward for creative play is huge. Like, sometimes, I'm not a big, create or destroy water. You can create and destroy the water inside of someone's body. When I'm talking about creative play, it's exactly like what you're talking about of rewarding something that you can't replicate over and over. So, I think that the classic example of, using create or destroy water to kill someone by destroying all the water in their body, that's something you could repeat over and over and over and over and over. That's not really creative play. This of blocking off the entrance really quick, that's a great thing to reward because it's not always going to be viable. It's not always going to work. It's not always going to make sense. And here, it does make sense. Keeping this thing at bay for a few seconds while they set up is great, especially for someone like Vax, the assassin. That's amazing for him. And rewarding that even extra, I think really goes towards creating a very creative environment, because now people know that they're not just going to waste their shit if they do something maybe a little bit off kilter with it.
Attack roll, not damage. You can add it to an attack roll, a saving throw.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what charm sounds like.
I was wondering what he was doing on his phone. I was like, this fucking guy playing on his phone.
Okay. All right, so Tiberius, can you stay where you are? Are you moving anywhere? Last chance.
I'm gonna. Is that cover right there next to me?
Right over here, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get behind the cover.
Okay.
And we're gonna peek out, and I'm gonna cast Blur.
Okay, so it's gonna be
No, I can do both. Then
they're both concentration spells.
Okay, I leave Stone Skin. I leave Stone Skin.
So it's going to stay on. Great. All right, so at which point, boom, the stone breaks through, scattering across the ground. You see, immediately cruising through.
What the fuck is that?
What is it?
A bulbous, oversized Naga-like creature. You've encountered a Naga before, which is
a Naga?
A large serpentine creature with a humanoid head. However, this one is swollen, it is bulbous, the way it moves looks unnatural, and it has affixed to it not one, not three, but 5 other different colored Naga heads that look to be stitched to its body. It is a seriously terrible abomination, and as it just breaks through the stone, all the heads kind of rear back.
Oh, I love me a custom monster. I love me a custom monster.
Hunter's mark, can I transfer it to that thing, or do I have
Correct, you can, yes, because this is still part of the encounter. We're just not getting battle for that. So that is now marked the Hunter's mark.
That's generous, but sure.
Do I have to take new aim, or can I have myself already trained on
you've had a moment to train. You haven't seen the creature until it just burst out, so it would take you a round.
I'm taking my round to aim.
Okay, so you're aiming. That brings us to Tiberius.
What did you say?
We did.
I just took aim. Took aim.
I'm keeping the same initiative.
Same gun. Just a gun.
Okay.
Take your time. Having
this gun doesn't do anything fancy. So.
The bad news does not seem good enough to warrant this. We'll see.
I'll do a Scorching Ray.
Scorching Ray. All right.
Yeah.
Saving throw. It does not. Rolls a 2, so full damage on it.
So 2 to 4. Let's shoot 2 of them right now, right? Or 3 of them.
Is it an aimed ray attack.
Yeah.
Then you have to roll for attack itself.
Oh.
So roll a d20 and add your.
I love Travis just sitting there, just flexing, just like waiting nervously for his chance to rage and just hit shit. It's so funny.
Top of your spell page. Top of your spell page.
Oh, that's 20. What's that? 20, 23.
23? 23 hits?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
And then that's 2d6. That's 12.
12 points of damage to the target. All right. That brings us to.
Wait. I'll roll for the second shot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a natural 20.
Okay, so you fire one beam off, it slams into the side where the Naga hits. The second one, you bring it back, and as you do, there's a flicker of arcane instability. His arm shakes as he releases the surge of scorching energy as it blasts into the side of the Naga. Also does not make a saving throw again. Roll full damage and double it.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit, Tiberius.
Oh my god.
12.
12?
Yeah.
Multiply? Or did you roll 12?
I rolled 12.
12 times 2, 24 points of damage.
Oh.
The Naga.
I'm terrible at math.
Good light, man. Use the critical
Stay in school, kids.
All right, just blast
Well.
the
This
side
is
where
a
the Naga
good time
heads.
to note our charity, 826LS.
Donate next week.
Next week. Next week you can donate to that. All right, so that brings us at the end of Tiberius' turn. You want to move at all? You're staying where you are?
I'll stay right here. Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
Rob and Bex, you're up.
Vice versa.
Oh, me. Okay.
Sure, who am I thinking?
I'm gonna shoot. Oh God, I didn't realize I was going so fast.
What did you roll for stealth, by the way?
I'm just gonna roll. What?
What did you roll for stealth, by the way?
Oh, I rolled a 20 for stealth.
Oh, well, then, yeah, he has no idea either.
Sweet.
Did you see the bear?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Trinket's gonna hang out because I don't want to, I'm going to shoot Conjure Barrage. No, I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him twice.
All right, go for it.
All right.
Arrow.
Sometimes it's that simple. It doesn't gotta be complicated.
But I am gonna do the fire arrow thingy at it.
Okay, so you using your bowstring.
Yeah, the blazing bowstring. Thank you, Tiberius.
That he created and crafted. All right, so as you pull the second
Tiberius
arrow out, you knock
crafts
it, as you let it
magical
go,
shit?
it bursts into flames, arcing out
Sure.
through the air.
Okay.
What was your hit roll?
The 21.
21 hits.
Yes.
Okay. That's a 4 plus 7.
Don't
is
forget your
11.
inspiration.
Inspiration dice is for the hit.
Oh, okay.
11
So 11 points of damage.
for the first one, plus for the blazing bowstring, I get I can turn any arrow into a flaming arrow, doing additional 10 fire damage. So I'll roll that right now.
There you go.
Which is this.
Okay, this is sort of just a tough situation about coming into this at level 9. Like, I think that for table play, it's okay if the pace is sometimes pretty slow. That's totally fine. Or if people are kind of refamiliarizing themselves with abilities. But right now, they are just whipping out abilities that none of us as an audience have ever seen, because all of this was in the Pathfinder game before this. You know, I think that maybe it would have been better for them to just restart at level 1 or level 3 or whatever, when they had less things and we as an audience could learn all of their abilities with them. I understand why they transferred it over. It totally makes sense. But it is like, oh, she has this thing, and then she has that thing. And like, as an audience, we're not used to all of these things, especially since a lot of them are Pathfinder ports, like this blazing bowstring. So it's a little hard to keep track of, and makes D&D combat, which is already a little weird to watch as an audience, at least I think, so far. And it makes it just that much more of a barrier. Like, makes it that much more confusing.
Which is a 7.
So additional 7, so 18 total damage on that arrow. Inside its body.
But I don't always need to know what's happening.
From the pain,
screw you, Naga.
begins snatching it where the arrow's not protruding from it, trying to break it off.
And then I'm going to
Second
roll
attack.
again.
Roll again.
That's a 24.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Awesome. That's an 8.
Grog, you're on deck.
7 plus 7 is 14.
14 damage, all right. Both arrows sink into it.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of piercing through the scales a little bit, but not sinking too deeply into its body. It's definitely a hardy creature. Grog, you're up.
Right, I would like to run around the other side of the rock raging spit flying out of my mouth.
Love it, love it,
Chain of
Grog.
returning, also crafted by Tiberius, attach it to the end of the great axe and throw it from where I am at the snake.
Okay. So he's running around, rears back, and takes his double-handed great axe and just lobs it overhand. The chain that's wrapped around your wrist, keeping it attached to you in some degree. Go ahead and roll for the attack.
17.
17.
Can I?
Dude, I could not agree more so far, Angus. I'm loving Grog and Travis. They are by far my favorites so far.
Alright, nice. That is 15.
15 points of damage as the axe embeds itself pretty deeply into the torso.
I didn't do the hunter's mark.
Roll hunter's mark damage right now.
Thank you, chat room. 6!
6, awesome. 6 damage. All right.
And it's an athletic strength check required to pull the weapon.
I missed who it was, but thank you.
I like
Yes.
this.
So go ahead and roll for an athletic check. No, you roll a d20.
Oh,
it's a DC 12. Let's try and pull it from the phone.
Shit balls. Taint 5.
Plus
what?
Plus your athletics.
Oh, that's bound to be good. 7. It's 12.
12 is the DC. So yeah, you pull back the
Hooray!
chain. The blade is it's resisting. It's stuck in the torso, and eventually it flies back, and you just barely catch it.
I love your joy sounds. You're just
All right.
Do that. Meant to do that.
Now it's
Easy on me, Grog.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, come on. Oh, shit.
What? Why me? No, that's not me.
For
That's
its
not me.
size, when it moves in a burst of lightning energy. It almost is too fast for its corpulent form. As it goes behind to Keyleth and Tiberius, it makes an attack with each of its 5 heads. 2 on Tiberius, 3 on Keyleth.
Holy.
You guys have stone skins. I believe you have resistance against damage, right?
Oh, yes, I do.
All right, so against Keyleth, it's a natural 20.
Oh, yes, I do.
It's a 12 plus 7. It's going to be a 19 to hit. With a 2 as well.
Yeah.
And natural 20 again.
Wow!
So 2 critical hits and a hit on you.
What is this bullshit?
Tiberius.
Woof.
That's a 22 to hit. And a 13 to hit.
Look, if you got, dude, I cannot even imagine how strong this thing is because you have 7 level 9s. You have nearly double the party, which does not double the CR that they can take on, right? So a party of 4 CR9s, or sorry, not CR9s, a party of 4 level 9s can take on a level, or a CR9 creature. More or less. The party should win because they have the better action economy. So, doubling that action economy, having 8 level 9s, I don't know how that math works out. Like, because the table in the DMG definitely does not do the math that tall, with that many participants on your side. So, he kind of would have just had to guess at how strong to make this thing. And 5 attacks, that's pretty strong. That's fair. They have 7 attacks, at least. So this thing is going to be beefy.
Okay, cool. So against Keyleth, you take...
God, cat, stone skin.
I know. So you take half damage to these, which is fine.
Yeah.
So that's 2 plus 4. That's 6 damage half. You take 3 damage. Oh, sorry, 3 multiplied 2 because it's a critical. That
yeah, let's not forget
so you take 6 damage from the first strike.
That's nothing.
Not
6
too bad.
damage.
You take 7 damage from the second strike.
Okay.
And another 6 damage from the third strike. Although actually, it would have been 6, 4, and 6. Because you have resistance in the damage because of stone skin.
6, 4, and 6?
Yes. However, make a constitution saving throw. As venom from the fangs of
no.
the Naga begin to
Where is
pulse
she?
into your bloodstream.
I should have taken these resistance.
No, I
He
talked
talked
her
me
out
out
of
of it. What am I? Constitution.
Yeah, constitution saving throw.
Fuck!
Natural 1? Natural one on the constitution. Okay, so you feel this burning,
It's a
not
bad day.
going
burning
well.
pain pulse into your bloodstream as your whole body doubles over from the pain.
Who's going down?
Keyleth dies in episode
You
1.
suffer
Ouch.
31 points of poison damage.
31 on top of the 6, 4, and 6.
Yep.
Are you
The
okay?
poison damage is not.
Are you okay?
And their healer's gone.
Is Keyleth unconscious?
No, she's okay.
No, she's
okay.
okay.
37.
She's okay.
She's not entering any.
Tiberius, you take 13 points of
She needs to
damage,
get
half
into
of which
wild
is skin,
shape.
So you take a total of 7.
Oh,
And
no.
also make Constitution saving throw.
Nah.
Dude, someone's going down. The damage is just too concentrated from a monster with 5 multi-attack.
Physically resist the poison in your system. You feel that sweat tinge the muscles tense, but then your dragonborn form begins to just shrug off the effect of the venom.
Can I turn to him and blow fire out of my nostrils?
Sure.
That's what I do.
Flares off its face. True dragonborn challenge.
Yeah, you
That brings us to Bax.
Okay, I start jogging backwards.
Backwards?
Yeah.
So we done
And
16
can I
hit
sneak
points.
attack while throwing? Don't get too close.
You're stealthed currently, so you
Yeah.
would technically get a sneak attack, but you have to be in melee for to get the other bonus. So what would a sneak attack for this damage if you were to roll? Or if you were to throw a dagger at it? You would
Yeah.
get a sneak attack.
Okay, so that means just 1 throw instead of 2?
You can throw both daggers.
Alright, I feel so inspired by Scanlan's bardic.
You can add it after you make the roll, by the way.
Okay.
So if you do
Yeah.
a really good roll, then you don't need it.
Okay, 19
That's a good one.
plus 11 is 30.
And because you're a rogue, doesn't you get a? Is that a critical for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 2 critical.
Rogues don't get improved critical. Huh?
And the other one is a 16 plus 26.
That also hits. So, you chuck both daggers out. They both kind of arc around from the very wind. You're used to throwing around. Yeah.
And I meant to say I was aiming at its eye, the main head's eye.
No called shots.
Flavor, it's fine.
Get that shit out of here.
Plus 7 is 11 plus
Favorite hashtag though.
5.
That was really funny.
11. 17. 18. 20. 20 times 40 plus 4. 44,
No.
that's the first dagger?
Yeah, 44 damage.
44.
Rogues, man.
Help me!
What? Really?
And the other one
That's
is...
just one
That's
dagger?
just 1. 4.
Yeah, he
plus
doesn't
two
get
is
the-
6. Is
So-
that sneak attack? No.
No, you only want to take
6.
attack per turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
40
Alright.
and then 6 on the other one.
So one actually hits one of the heads, one of the various Naga heads directly into its face. As it does, it goes through both eyes, and you can see it begin just reeling from the attack. It's looking pretty rough, actually.
Oh!
The physical form, you can see the stitches beginning to come apart at some of the seams. You can see kind of a black ichorish liquid kind of spill out from some of the suture marks.
And just a reminder of the daggers, folks. Blink back to the belt on my waist.
Yes. Because magic.
Because
Magic rogue shit.
Pathfinder
Alright,
that we don't know about before this.
Okay, so I'm really upset. It's really hurting. So, out of anger, I take my staff and I go, well, bam, and I crack and I do thunder wave, pushing him back 15 feet.
All right.
He's
Makes a saving
almost
throw,
dead.
but he gets pushed back, so he takes damage. It's half damage.
Okay, 2d8.
So 1, 2.
Yeah.
As you're setting up your gun, it gets slammed right point blank to you.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's
He
good.
takes 4 damage.
4 damage already.
And then I'm going to turn into an eagle.
Okay. As one does.
So
Yeah, sure.
I forgot to bring an eagle.
Forgot to bring an eagle.
She moon druid?
And
That was an evil voice.
Fly away.
Hey, fair enough.
4 damage.
Tell our story, Keelan.
That's pretty great.
And then I cry in the corner and rock back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
I forgot to mention you actually half damage in saving throw from the venom, so you would still take in 14 points of poison damage.
Oh,
So just mark
okay.
that. It is half damage on a save.
Yeah, the chat is over Matt's face.
Alright, so...
Yeah, I might hide the
here's
chat.
Scanlan.
There's no like
Oh,
really
can I
good
bonus,
place to put it.
Inspire myself?
unfortunately.
Can I?
Because you're Scanlan, I'll say yes. You have such a high opinion of yourself that even you can inspire yourself in this. So yes, why not?
It would help
Moon
me to
Druid?
acquire
Fair
some
enough.
dice to inspire. Okay, so I inspire myself first. I move 5 feet back, so I'm on the same row as him.
There?
No,
There?
not that far. Yes.
There you go.
And then I'm going to cast lightning bolt at him.
Yes!
Okay. Straight line that way?
Straight line that way.
All right. So you don't have to roll to hit. You just roll damage on that.
I didn't even need to inspire.
What's
Well,
your DC on the spell? Top of your spell list.
Yeah,
There.
Jesus.
17.
Thank you.
17?
Rules!
That's a
Ah!
failure on a saving throw.
I get it.
Damage, go ahead and roll 8d6.
You got these?
8d6.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Kill him.
Bards?
These are 8.
Yes.
Okay.
If you kill,
Get spells from other
He's gonna
classes.
get it.
I'm
He's
gonna
gonna
take a
get it.
shit on this
6,
table.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Oh my god.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
No way.
24 points of lightning damage.
No way.
Kill it, kill it.
How do you want to do this?
Wait, is it the first time?
I've never killed
Never killed anything in
so
2 years.
For the people at home, we live to hear Matt say, "How do you want to do this?"
I let the player describe their victory.
My
So, as
fucking
you sing to
ears,
yourself to
dude.
bolster your arcane energy, you release the sheer bolt of it. And how do you want to do this?
The bolt of lightning begins in its tail and works its way up through its spine, slowly but painfully torturing it as it slowly feels the effect coursing through its evil body.
Okay. All right. So, because of your bardic ability to actually shape sound from an arcane standpoint, a lightning bolt should be an instant flash of arcane energy. You actually cause it to crawl. You control it as it begins to cascade up the torso of this horrible abomination. As it does, you can see the bolt splinter and destroy each suture wound as each of its heads begins to slaw off the rest of the torso until nothing is left but the single head that's screaming into the air as the bolt makes its way up the neck. Its eyes burst out in a blast of energy, and the body falls limp.
Can it have a lightning bolt shaped in an S?
A Scanlan shaped lightning bolt is left burned into the torso of the strange Naga
Oh
beast.
my goodness.
Well done,
Hey, the first
As
victory.
the dust settles, and the adrenaline's still pumping in your system, Scanlan, all the rest of the dwarves begin stepping down, putting their crossbows down, looking down at the little gnome that created a storm from its hands, and kind of one of them pats him on the shoulder and goes, well done.
Thank you. Just promise me that you'll tell Pike about this.
Okay.
Because it was really cool, right?
That was pretty cool.
Okay, good.
As all the dwarves kind of look into the tunnel that it came from, and the one that you spoke to earlier kind of goes, so, that's the kind of thing that's been coming out of there.
Lovely. Yeah, thanks for the heads up.
Classic.
That was really helpful.
We'll go ahead and leave the game there. For
Hey!
folks, well done. Hope you guys had fun watching our first ever Critical Role, but that was a good time. So we'll be
There
here
we
next week
go.
again on Thursday, 7 o'clock though.
7
Today
Vox Machina in its full glory. Oh man, that was fun. That was fun. I'll put back up the chat. I had a lot of fun watching that. I am excited to watch the rest. I mean, the plan with this stream series, YouTube seemed to be fine with it. They didn't seem to have any issues with streaming it on YouTube or Twitch. So the general plan is going to be, it's gonna be a trek, but we're gonna be making our way through the entirety of Critical Role, start to finish. This is probably, it's probably a multi-year commitment, but I can at least commit to campaign 1 for now. So that's gonna be about it for me. I will see everyone later. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. I will see you next time.